And
Good morning.
good morning, everyone. And how's it going? I was sitting I had opened the link to the intro to the Mac class, and I was sitting there going, that's surprising that everyone's late today. And
What
then I
question?
went, wait a minute. At 9:01, I figured, no, something's wrong. People are always waiting. I had to go close up and open the right link.
It doesn't matter. You're here and we're here and we'll all get together.
We're all here. It's I have so many links in my Zoom because I'm teaching so many classes at the same time. But then I have to keep the links, even if I'm not teaching it. Like I'm not teaching right now Illustrator, but the link is there because I have to use the same links for each CRN. So I have to go down a list this long because I teach so many different types of classes, right? Head over to the chat while we're talking, please, and get yourself.
Okay.
Diana,
Sí, Patricia.
I have a question.
Okay.
My laptop,
Mhm.
it says that it needs a battery. At this point, do you think it's better to get a new laptop instead of a battery?
Well, it depends on what laptop you have. What laptop do you have?
Well, it's a PC, and it's already broken from the turn on and off. So I'm afraid it's going to die pretty soon. That's why I got the Apple.
Yeah, and your Apple is a desktop, right? You have
Yeah,
an
it's a
iMac.
desktop.
Yeah. Well, if you have Apple and it's a desktop and you don't want to spend a ton of money, you should probably get another cheap laptop just to have something to move outside of your house. But you don't find cheap Macs. So
No, there's no cheap now, is there?
no,
But
I
the
mean,
battery is out of
MacBook
the
Air.
question, right? The battery is out of the question.
I would have to know which laptop, like what brand, how old. Some things are better being fixed and some things are better being replaced.
Oh, okay.
How old is your laptop? You're saying it's about to die. The battery's about to die, or
Yeah, the
other stuff is wrong? Because if it's
No,
just
yes,
the
the battery.
battery and the rest of it works, then yeah, actually getting a battery is fine. It's one of the easiest things to replace.
Oh, okay.
I thought when you said that it was about to die, I thought so it has many other problems. But if it's just the battery, and it's batteries for
4 years. I had it for 4 years
for
already.
PCs. Yeah, I mean, a
You plug it in?
4-year-old computer
Plug it
is
in.
not old.
What do you say, Charlie?
Or have it plugged in. But the whole point, he has a desktop. She has a desktop. She has a Mac desktop for a plug-in. She needs a laptop to move out of the house. And so that's not a solution. But while you're in the house, of course, what Charlie's saying is you can plug it in, which works while you're in the house.
Mhm.
All right. So hi, everyone. Looks like
Hi.
most
Hi,
of you guys are here and most of you guys seem to have signed into the chat. So if you haven't yet signed into the chat, please do so. I'm moving all the participants over to the side. There we go. And I'm going to move you guys.
I was surprised you as a graphic designer would like the iPad, because the iPad I can use a pencil and things like that, whereas the MacBook, you can't do that.
Oh, yeah, look, see this over here? This is my pencil and pad that I use for my desktop, and you can do that. You don't need the Apple Pencil. You can use another brand. The iPad isn't powerful enough, anywhere near powerful enough to do the kind of files that I work with, nor with video, with editing and all that kind of stuff. The Apple is fine, but it is not pro. It doesn't need pro needs. We can talk more about this in a second. Cassie's had very patiently her hand up since the beginning. So what's up, Cassie? You need to unmute yourself. There you go.
Yeah, I have my 2 computers here, and so just want to know, I go to the mute and
The sound. Yeah, so go to the little arrow next to the mute. Go up. The second source up is leave computer audio.
It's,
So the second choice, heading up with audio settings, right above audio settings is leave computer audio.
mine says MacBook Air microphone. No. Uncheck that.
Okay,
Oh, I see it. I see it.
from the bottom up. Yeah.
Okay.
There we
Okay.
go. So you guys hear that reverb? She's got two computers running, and so the reverb was happening. So when you guys have two devices, you need to turn the sound off on one of them. All right. So that's great. We got her connected with her new computer after class the other day, and so now you've got two devices going. So again, if that's a possibility for you guys, that's the easiest way to be able to experience what I'm showing you on one screen, and on the other one to have it free and open to use. Okay. All right. Now, one thing I wanted to say for people who are connecting with two devices, that you don't need to have the video on both, because that video does use up Wi-Fi and stuff like that. So your connection might start to wobble. So you might want to grab one of the two devices and turn the video, stop the video on one of them, so that then you can, I mean, but if you're not having issues with Zoom and stuff like that, that's fine. It's just, if you start having an unstable connection like that, turning the video off does give a hand. Okay. So I received from a couple of people a request to send the class recording, and I believe I showed you how to get to the class recordings yourself. I will not be sending you a link to the class recordings every week, every day, because it's twice a week. I need you to know how to get there and get them yourselves. So if you have any questions about how to do that, I know many of you guys have taken my classes before, and by now you know how to do it. But if it's still confusing in any way, please ask me and I can show you after class. I can stay at the end and show you again slower, because I did it really quickly yesterday, how it is, how to get there. The other thing I wanted to say is that there's a reason to this madness. I am telling you guys that the classes are being recorded and that only you guys will see the class, right? But if I start distributing the link to you guys in an email and you send it to someone else and send it to someone else, then anyone can see the recordings. This way you have to go into your Pipeline account, which only you know, your personal password, et cetera, to get in to get the recordings. And thus only the class students can access the recordings. Okay. So that's one of the main reasons why. And the other one is because y'all need to know how to access your Pipeline account. It's very important that you start using it as a student, and for all of the resources and recourses that it has. And we as faculty have, we shouldn't be emailing you your personal account. We should only be using your Pipeline account. That's the rule for every teacher, for everything. But because non-credit students seem to have a really hard time understanding that, we non-credit teachers have been given permission to email you to your personal accounts for things like the link to the class and things like that. But for anything else that we talk about in class, we need to be using Pipeline accounts. And so I can't keep reaching out to you on your personal accounts for things. And so for all of these things and for any other classes you might take, you need to be able to know how to check your Pipeline accounts. Okay. So that said, it's just because every day I'm getting a request for a link and I'm like, I think I'm pretty clear. Let me actually make it a little bit more clear. And so I'm saying that to the beginning of all my classes, but I'm happy to stay here and show you again and again how to get to the class links. Okay. They have to be slightly hard to get to, or behind a password in particular, so that they become private to just the people who are in this class. All right, Jeannie. I can't hear you. Your sound is off. While she's doing that, Cassie, is that another question hand? I'm okay, then let me deal with Jeannie. I didn't know if it was still up from before. Yeah, Jeannie?
Yes, if we can we download the recording or the class recordings, but keep them so that we can refer to them later on, or will they disappear?
I'm not sure if you can download them. Since I am the maker of them, I can, but I don't know. Has anyone tried to download them and can you? I mean, these are 3-hour recordings. These are big files, but can you? I don't know if you're allowed to. I would have to see through a student's point of view. Have you tried to download it, whether it says that you can or not? I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that.
Usually they
Um,
download to YouTube, the instructor before, and some of my other classes will download it on a YouTube account, and you go to YouTube to that address and you get it that way.
Yeah, you're welcome to go to my address. When you go to the account, when you go click on the account, you'll see that right there, one of the options is to subscribe to my account. And if you do that, then you can get all the videos straight from YouTube. Okay, you can do that too. Because these links do take you to YouTube. All right, so Cassie, what's your question?
Oh, yeah, I'm just wondering, where is the time signature? I'm just looking on the screen. I don't see, you were saying we could mark it, the time.
It's not here. It's when you watch the video, it has a time signature. So right now, what you need to do is write down that, for example, she's explaining where the time signature is, and you look at the time you look at your computer and say, oh, or your phone or your watch and say, oh, it's 9:15. You write it down, because then when you watch the video, which does have a time signature, you can zoom up to 15 minutes after class started. She was talking about something that's important today.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then you go to the time signature in the video. But right
Okay.
now, all you have is a clock telling you what time it is. You don't see the timeline.
Okay.
Okay, you're welcome. Yeah, Marcia?
Yeah, I'm sorry, thanks. Whatever you mentioned about your account on YouTube, I didn't quite understand that. We can access them. Could you explain that a little further?
When you are watching a video on YouTube, there's always a choice if you are interested in what the kind of videos that person is doing, and you kind of want to see all the videos this person ever puts out. You can subscribe to their channel, it's called, and there's a button called subscribe, right? So say that I have a photographer that I like to see all the videos they put out, or a filmmaker or a podcaster or something. If you subscribe, then you can just go to their channel and just browse all the videos that they put out. And you can do that. And when you look at my videos, there's going to be a button. I don't necessarily need subscribers. I'm not trying to become a commercial, so it's not like I'm trying to get you to subscribe. But if you just want to, you can subscribe and then just go to YouTube and look through the list and find the latest video for the Mac class. You can do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Let's see. It's not, by the way, something also that I say necessarily a lot either, because by that same token, if people out there that aren't part of our classes find that out, then that's the only way that they can also access the videos, because anyone can find me as a person. And since I'm not out there being a commercial podcaster, no one finds me on YouTube. But if you know my name and look for me and find me and subscribe, well, guess what? There, all the videos are available. And so the idea is to not have that be published to the world, because it's just for you guys to do the video. So you're welcome to do that, but it's not something that I want the world to do. I don't want subscribers from all over. This is supposed to be private, or as private as they can be on YouTube, without having to send you an actual personal link with a password, which I would be the last thing I'd want to do. Each person to have their own password to access my videos.
You could be famous that way.
I have no interest in doing that, but thanks for the suggestion. All right. I have noticed though that some of my videos that people see all the time, like the ones of how to connect to the cloud and all that kind of stuff, they have gotten so many views by now that they do have, now and then I see that they have some ads. So not the classes, not the ones that only, but the ones that I send saying how to access my handout, the ones that people tend to see all the time. I noticed that it came up with an ad. So I guess it's been after 2 years of having people watch these videos, the ones that are repetitive have hit enough hits, I guess, or whatever, that there's an ad there. Not that I'll ever see any money, because each time you see an ad, there's I think you get like a cent or two, and the whole point is that if 1 million people see it, you get some dollars, but if like 20 people see it, you know, I don't even think it ever means anything. But anyway, that's the way to make money on YouTube, to get lots of people watching, and then they start putting ads on your thing, and then you make money from the ads. Or I've never in my life will see a cent, you guys. So this is not a commercial enterprise at all. Okay. Well, last class, we spent some time doing a bit of review for all the people who weren't, not a review of everything, but a review of some parts for all the people who weren't here for the first class. And we began to talk a bit more in depth about backups and updating to the new systems. So hopefully you've all started the process. Those of you who did not have a backup on your computer or a time machine backup, hopefully you've begun the process of getting a portable hard drive, and that way next week I can lead you through the process and explain much more about backing up, something that usually belongs in Mac level 2 that I'll bring into this class. So unless you have any burning questions about that, ask me again at the end of class, because I've already spent some time yesterday to 2 days ago talking about it. And at the end of class, if you're still having any questions about what to buy, what not to buy, please ask me or send me something in the chat. Other than that, we're gonna wait until next week to talk about backups. Right now, we're gonna begin to talk about, well, what is it that we have in our computer that we're gonna be trying to back up? I would like you guys to go to your reactions and give me answers as I put questions out right now. I want you guys to answer with either the raised hand, the yes, which is the green check mark, or the no, which is the red check mark. And it doesn't mean, some of them won't mean no, it's just me seeing colors. So it's not that you're answering no, it's me saying do this. If you have this, then say no. If you have this, say yes, and so on and so forth. Okay. So here's the questions. How many of you guys use your computer for the internet, to check the internet, maybe to check the weather, to check the news, to check, to shop on Amazon, whatever it is that you choose to do. And then go to the chat and give me an idea what you do in the internet. So for example, I read the news every day, or what is it? Just a couple of words. I don't need big sentences, but what are the things you do most when you're on the internet? You shop, you check out, you're interested in fashion and you look at fashion magazines, you support, feeding the children in Rwanda, and you research that, like what, just research, right? You don't need to tell me feeding children in Rwanda. You can say you do research, you do interest notes, you read. This is on the internet, not other stuff that you do, but give me a slight idea of what it is that you do. So go to the chat and write down, do you check the weather every day? Do you check your stocks, look into your investments, figure out, I mean, what's the whole point of the internet for you? When you open up your browser, now nobody's answering, so I guess somehow you're having some kind of
Deanna,
yes.
are you talking about the iPhone, including the iPhone and the iPad too, or just the computer?
No, iPhone, iPad,
Okay.
computer, the internet. Now, it's interesting, the question though, because yeah, maybe you never go on the internet and the computer, you just use your phone. So that if so, tell me, I only use the internet on my phone or something like that. So yeah. I'm seeing a raised hand there, Anne. Is that a question? Or you're muted? Or is that a yes, but you did a raised hand? You're still muted. I can't hear you until you unmute yourself.
Okay.
There we go.
Yes.
All right, it was a yes. Got it. Okay, so I'm reading online shop, news, and do YouTube, research, banking. Yeah, that's a big one to do. Facebook. So yeah, social media. Now, the question that was last asked, I believe by Cassie, is a good one. Do you do these kind of things mostly on your computer or on your phone? So now I want two different answers. Give me a yes, a green mark if you do this mainly on the computer, and a red no if you do mainly on your phone. Okay, so now yes, you mainly sit at your computer to hang out on the internet, or red no if you mainly use your phone. This isn't a question I've normally asked, and thanks for asking that, because it is good. Or phone or iPad, by the way, phone or iPad or computer. So phone or iPad is no, and computer is yes. Banking, news, streaming to watch movies. Okay, reading. Yes, to all things mentioned. I guess I have hit all the notes. Is there something I haven't said? Well, someone mentioned banking that I haven't said, so that's a good one too. All right, so okay, no one is saying no, only one. So Sarah's saying no, meaning you're using either your iPhone or your iPad. The rest of you seem to use your desktop or your laptop more often. Okay, or you haven't answered yet. That's interesting because especially if you have a phone, yeah, phones, however comfortable they are, it's not like I'll sit here and just browse the internet, but I might do social media on the phone. So those of you who do Facebook, or if anyone here does Instagram or something like that, you might do that more on your phone. All right, so color death and go to the internet. Okay, so the reason I'm asking this is because everything that you wrote there, so you guys can read the chat, every single thing that people wrote on the computer, on the chat here, these are all things that can be done without making any kinds of files to set up or install in your computer. So what I'm trying to say is all of this is information that is on the internet. You do not have to have your own files created at any point for any of this. The only thing that might happen here is sometimes when you're doing certain research or stuff, there might be something that you might want to download. If it's a bulletin or a newsletter or something that you actually want to download and keep, but nothing that's been spoken of here is something that you would ever need to file away on your computer. And for the most part, other than what you've just told me, sorry, I apologize. I have a little carpet here under my computer and my dog was on it, and there we go. And I was tripping over it. Give me a second. Okay, so none of these things that you told me create files unless you download them for some reason or another. None of this has any residue on your computer. It's all on the web. Again, you might download something. Somebody was asking, Jeannie was asking, can you download my videos from YouTube? As I said, I don't know, but in general, that's not what we do with videos. What we really generally do with videos is we watch them and we're done. If you want, you can bookmark them, you know, you can save them in a way that you can go back to it easily, but it's rare that you download it. And if you do, a video does take up a lot of space. Yeah, there's some things that you download. For the most part, the maker has to have, the creator has to have a reason to download. For the most part, it's private property, so to say, and it isn't downloadable. But I'm not sure how many people protect their rights that way or not. And I'm just reading that Charlie was mentioning that he does download from YouTube. That's the answer I was getting. All right. So when I'm telling you about how to organize your computer, I'm talking about files that you have on your computer, which means none of this that we just talked about. So what else is left? What other thing does everyone do on their computer all the time, or their phone? Something that does possibly create files. And more mainly.
Saving emails?
Sorry. I'm sorry, give me 1 second here. Oh. Apologize. I'm getting my son was going to school and a bike chain broke. How many bike chains break? It's one thing to fall off, but it snapped. It snapped into two. So I'm gonna get my husband on. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so that which I am demonstrating is kind of what I'm talking about right now. What else do you do that does create files? For
Emails?
example,
Emails?
that's the big one, emails. So emails only create files, once again, when you download things or when, so if somebody sends you something, right? So go ahead and explain to me again on the green if you do mainly email on the computer, red if you do email mainly on your phone. Okay, so red if you do email on your computer, sorry, green, yes, yes, if you do it on your computer. Red, no, if you do it mainly on your phone to check for emails and read emails and answer emails. And then if you have any nuance to that, explain it on the chat. Because I personally seem to check emails on my phone because I'm on the go, but I answer emails on the computer. So it takes a while until I get to sit down and work that I answer emails on the computer, unless it's a quick little yes, no. But for the most part, I have to can create an answer. I might do that on the computer.
Your eyesight better be very good if you use the phone all the time. So small.
Yeah, I know. You can change the text on some of this stuff. Anyway, so now I'm getting your answers. I actually use both phone and computer, depending on where you are. Definitely, one of the advantages of that is that you can use, these are things that you can do on both, right? I'm going to teach you how to do the same. I'm trying to teach you, as you saw the last class, everything I show you how to do on the computer, I show you how to do it also on the phone or iPad. But what's your comfort level? Okay, so most of you guys are saying that you do it on your computer. Cassie, you're not answering either way. Vera, oh, you have on one of your computers, you've answered yes. Okay, so most of you seem to be check emails on your computer. Now, because we're going to spend quite a bit of time figuring out that. Now, mainly right on a laptop unless out of the house. I answer emails on email, but sometimes I answer on the phone, both computer and answer. I don't even know how to reply emails on the phone. Yeah, there you go. So there's a whole variety. Cassie, what do you do? I can't hear you. Are you talking to me? No. You seem to have the sound off on both your, not on both. One is disconnected, but the one that has the sound out, there we go, is muted. Yeah.
I sometimes check my email on my phone, but I hate writing on my phone, so I'll answer on my computer. But
Okay.
I will open the email.
So do you know where the reactions, the emoticons are to
Yeah.
give me a yes or a no? Okay.
I did give you a yes. Yeah.
What's that?
Okay.
None of yours say yes or no. Good, perfect. So basically, do you guys see the yeses and the nos from people?
Yeah.
So that you guys can get a gander, right? Of what the
I
answers are.
just checked my yes and it didn't go up into my box. So
It just did, and then it went off again. So you must have checked it twice, which is turn on and turn off. So you
yeah,
just
I'm
had
gonna
it
check
on. So one time and it stays. There you go. Now it's on.
Not showing on my computer. Okay, I see. Okay.
It is. You have two videos, so it's
It's
on the one
slow.
that you're answering. Okay. So email, not only does it not only does the email get written, but many times you attach things, and it's those attachments that are either files that you created that you're attaching, or that someone else created and they're sending it to you. and you can choose to download them or not. So suddenly we begin to have actually files. The mails themselves are not files. They're just messages, and you can actually find a way to save them as a file if necessary if you want to. But for the most part, emails come and go and they don't get saved as files. They don't store, they're not files that we need to search for or store or do anything on the computer. It's actually there's a sound. You guys hear like is it just me? Is there like a zzzz in the background?
Yes.
Sort of like a swishing, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna mute everyone because I don't know where it's coming from. So all of you have been muted. Every single one of you has been muted because I didn't know who it was coming from. So now when you need to speak again, you need to unmute yourself, okay? And then if noise doesn't come out, you can stay unmuted. But I had to do a mute for everyone because I was trying to pinpoint and I couldn't. Okay. All right. So what kind of things can be sent to you in an attachment that you might want to keep? Maybe newsletters that you want to read somewhere other than on the phone. Maybe photos. People send photos all the time. Maybe videos. Be careful with downloading those unless you really want it. Yeah, you shouldn't necessarily download any of this stuff that you don't really want onto your computer. Just check it on the email. Forms, as if you need to sign up for this class, you might have, if you did it online and didn't know how to do it, they sent you a form to fill out. It's a PDF. So for the most part, you get things called PDFs, right? So when these things get downloaded, for the most part, they end up in your downloads folder. So we're going to begin to talk about the downloads folder now, because it's where things land from your email every time you download stuff. Some of you guys don't even know that you could download stuff. You just thought you had to see them always in email. You could. There's some things that you could choose to bring into your computer, and that's downloading them. What kind of things do you ever download from an email? I know that you can download applications, stuff like that, but that's not from an email. Other than photos or forms, that seems to be what I would download. I can't think right now of anything else. Yeah. PDFs. PDFs would be the type of file that holds information, like a flyer, an invitation to something, or an event. The Lemon Festival is happening, and you, instead of writing it in your calendar, you download the whole flyer or something like that. I'm just thinking, or invitations to things. You can just write it up in your calendar and leave the invitation, or you might want to download the whole invitation. Okay, so all of these actually do create files. So we're beginning, after all the stuff that we've been doing, which is a bunch. Basically what we're talking about is most of what we do. And yet finally, this is the first thing that creates a file. Okay, if you download something. So some of you guys have very few things in your computer, because what you do is everything we've been talking about, banking, which is all online. And then you might receive some things that you begin to download. Okay, so this is very little bit of files. So what other kind of stuff can we have in your computer? Someone did mention it a little bit higher up. Charlie mentioned it. What kind of things, now I'm going to clear your feedback, do you create on your computer that you actually make yourself, and that you then have to keep that file somewhere? Maybe your
Photographs.
Photographs are something that usually you make yourself. What other things? Just write in there. Give me in the chat ideas. Word documents. Charlie wrote Excel. Access and Excel apps. Access is a database. Excel is a spreadsheet program where you can also have data or numbers. So that's what Charlie's doing. Paul is talking about photographs. Anything else? Sarah mentioned that she makes notes, which we talked about the notes app last session. Documents on Pages. Pages is another application that is equivalent to the Word application. So it's basically you write things, letters, recipes, novels, anything you're going to write, poetry, whatever it is that you're going to open up and write something to keep. you would do on a document like Pages or Word, or Google Docs, okay? So Vera, in fact, is mentioning Google Docs and Sheets, Pages. So those are applications that help you write things, okay? So maybe you write songs, maybe you write scripts, maybe you write memories and, stories, genealogy, stories about your ancestors, okay? Everything we're talking about right now. So maybe you keep track of your budget, your finances. I believe someone mentioned QuickBooks, but I don't know if it was in this class. I think it was in the Excel class that I'm teaching right now. So these are things that we actually do make and store somewhere. Okay. So it's this making and storing somewhere worth that we need to organize. Okay. So how many of you guys, give me a yes if you do this kind of stuff? Give me a no if no, this is not the kind of stuff you do. So yes, you find yourself creating documents, everything we've just talked about, and maybe you have some other ideas. No, if you do not create documents in any way or another. Actually, Patricia, you do work with photos, and Paul mentioned photos, so that would be a yes. Okay, so most of you do create some kind of material. In fact, I'm looking, finally, all of you do. Yolanda, you didn't say yes, but I know you do. Basically, it's this stuff. It's this stuff, the last things that we just mentioned, that we need to figure out where it goes, where to put it, how to organize it, how to retrieve it, how to send it to someone if we're interested in having them see it or read it or view it. That we're going to be talking about mainly during this Excel level 1 class. It's file management, and these are the files we're talking about. Okay. Now, the only ones that I'm going to subset are the photos that you make and videos that you make. That I'm talking about in the iLife class, which is the Friday class where we're just talking about photos. And it's a whole nother subject in and of itself. So here we're going to talk about them incidentally, but not focus on the photos. Okay. They're just going to be one of the many kind of files we can handle. And if you want to know very specifically about photos, by the way, I have my schedule for the spring, for the January session, the one that starts in January. And I will be teaching iLife class again and the Mac classes again. So last year we went almost a year without them until the summer, and now I'll be teaching them now and in the spring again. So the way scheduling works. So you'll get a chance to practice with stuff that you see for the first time now. You can do it again, and you can do the iLife class in the fall, in the spring, I'm sorry. Yeah, cool. So let me share my screen, and we're going to start to figure out where and how to find all these files. Okay, now the first thing that we want to make sure of is that all these files that we're talking about do not land on your desktop. Okay, so this example of all these things that are on my desktop is an example of what not to do. Okay, now, and it's okay, I'm not making anyone wrong, and especially, you know this already if you've taken my class before, but if you have not taken my class before, you're surprised to hear that. So how many of you guys, let me clear all your answers, how many of you guys see less than 5 items on your desktop? Give me a yes. Less than 20? Give me a raised hand. More than 20, give me a no. Okay, so I'm going to write this down. So less than 5 items is a green check mark. Less than 20 items is a raised hand. More than 20 items is a red no. Okay, so let's see. Green, less than 5 items, a lot of greens, and guess what? You're almost all of you are return students. All right, not all of you. So if you have less than 5 items on your desktop, just scattered or amongst, or even tidily placed, that's a green. Less than 20, so between 5 and 20, that's a raised hand, and I'm seeing Patricia. And then I am not seeing more than 20 items, other than Sarah, which is very surprising because for the most part, oh, there we go, and Jeannie. Doran, where's your answer? Okay, if you're doing, if you're having main, if an iPad is your main device, then there's no way to scatter things on an iPad on a desktop. So yeah, that's not you. Okay. All right, on the Mac you have less, but on the PC you have 10. Okay, so well, either you are all very quick studies and you've learned from the past from me, or maybe the system is beginning to work better and that you are automatically thinking things in the desktop, because for the most part, I tend to find people who have a lot of stuff on the desktop in class. So this is actually really good news. Now, why should you not have things on the desktop? It slows down your computer, basically. It slows down your computer to put things on your desktop. Now, when you said less than 20 or less than 5, that still doesn't get you completely in the clear, because depends on what kind of item you have on your desktop, whether it is going to slow down your computer. So you could have 100 shortcuts and they don't slow down your computer, and you can have 5 videos and your computer barely works, right? So it's not so much also the amount, but it's the type of file that you have on your desktop that might be a problem or not. So in my case, what I'm seeing here is a lot of screenshots that I've been taking. This is screenshots I took the last class when I was teaching you guys how to take screenshots. And then here there's an actual file. How can you tell the difference? Well, of course, screenshots get labeled screenshot by the computer when you take them. So these are clearly screenshots. But this bottom one here, as you can see, is a .jpeg. You need to see the extension to see what kind of file it is. So this is a photograph. It's a JPEG photograph. So screenshots and JPEGs are image files. Image files are big files, in particular, the ones that come out of your camera, like this one. So every kind of file that I have here is the worst kind of, is not the worst, but it's one of the worst kind of files that I could have on my desktop, because they are files that are big. When I say big, heavy, like as far as a file is concerned, these are files that are not good to have on your desktop. Now, screenshots, after all, are still low resolution photos. They're still small-ish. But if you do a lot of screenshots, one thing about screenshots on the Mac is that they save themselves to your desktop automatically. And so suddenly you were looking at a project, you were taking a lot of screenshots, maybe of a presentation that you wanted to record some things. And I do that. I'll see a presentation of something I'm learning, and I'll just do screenshots of their of the words that they're writing and stuff like that. Next thing I know, the presentation's over. I turn it off and I look and I have a scattering of 25 screenshots on my desktop. I hate that there's no way to put them somewhere else automatically. So the important thing is then to take these screenshots and put them into a particular folder, do whatever it is that you're going to do with them, take them off your desktop. So some of them you'll go, I don't need this anymore. You'll just get rid of them, and others you will keep, and others you will forward to someone else, you know, so it depends on what you need to do. But the goal is to either get rid of them or put them in the right place. So if what you have instead are photos like this one, a lot of people want to keep photos around because they want to see them easily and they don't know how to handle finding them and how do I get to them all the time. Same with files. Maybe you have something on your desktop because you're working on it, like you're writing a novel. So you have the file on your desktop to make it easy to open. So those are all reasons to have things on the desktop. And I'm going to teach you a better way to have them available to you, not on your desktop, but on your dock, which is just as accessible as your desktop. But having them on your dock does not alter the functioning of your computer versus having on your desktop does. Okay, so that's one of the goals. And then the second goal is to have on your, the other kind of things that you can have on your desktop are applications or programs. If they're installed on your desktop, that's terrible. But if they're just a link to open the desktop, the program, then that's fine. I, again, would say I'd rather it be here on the dock than being scattered on your desktop. But that is in the way it has been done for years and years on the PC. And so people who transfer from the world of PC into the Macs tend to have a lot of icons here to open Google, to open Word, to open stuff. They have just like scattering of applications. That is the PC way, because for years they didn't have such a thing as the dock. Now they do. So now even on the PC, you don't need to do that. But, you know, old customs die hard. And so people who've been using a computer that way forever will keep using it that way forever. So I've taught you already in the class number 1 how to bring applications to your dock. Now we have to learn, if you have any more that are loose and that you're using in here, how to put the ones that matter that you want to access quickly on your dock, and the things that are just loose there because you didn't know where to put them, how to put them away in the right place. There's oh, another thing you can have. Okay, so Yolanda's writing that she has folders on her desktop. My desktop has folders and also on the dock. So over here, see how I have behind these little pieces of paper, I have this little blue thing that kind of looks a little bit of it like a manila folder. So if mine is full of stuff, so it has things in it, but if you see a little folder here next to your trash can, that means it's empty. Or you could have put a folder in there to access stuff. So why you have folders there or on your desktop would be that you made a folder for all your screenshots and you left them on your desktop, that even if they're organized, they're still on your desktop. So anyway, let's start working on how and where we put all these things. First thing, once again, I told you last week how to open a new Finder window to look into your computer. Do you remember how to open a new Finder window? I'm going to clear all the
Hit the
feedback.
Finder icon.
One way, yep. Click the Finder icon, which is this far left one right there. That's how one way to click the Finder, to open a Finder window. Another way to open the Finder window, and this is just review, you would go up to the word Finder and go File, New Finder Window. There you go. That opens a Finder window. And the last one was, who remembers the shortcut? Hold down the Command key and tap the letter N, and a new Finder window appears. Okay, so do one of each, and then you don't have to learn one of each. You can just learn one and use one all the time. But for some of you guys, the easiest mine will always be to do the Finder window. For some of you guys, it's the shortcut. For some of you guys, it's the going up to the menu. This was called the file menu. So you choose whichever one you prefer. All that matters to me is that you open a window. We left it last class where we had turned on the status bar and the path bar. Remember these two down here? So make sure whether you still have these two gray bars down there. If so, all is good. I'm seeing, Cassie, that you have your hand up. Do you have a, I can't hear you. Volume? Cassie, volume. You need to unmute yourself.
Yes, you keep referring to the first class that where we missed things. When was this first class? Was that last week or something?
3 weeks ago, we started with Introduction to the Mac. We had 6 classes, and then this is the Intro to the Mac Level 1 is the second class, which I know the names of the classes are weird, but yeah. So we've already had 6 weeks of classes. So which is why some of the stuff that you're listening to, you're just catching up because, you know, but I'm happy to, when you don't know something that I'm talking about, to make a note of it, and then I can always sit back after class and just show you a few of those things.
Okay, because I am totally in the dark about moving apps to files and stuff, so.
Okay,
Just say
well,
that.
the classes cycle around, so next time the
Yeah.
class gets done, you can take that class again. It's fine, wherever we're at, I teach something different. So it's not like if you don't know how to do that, that you can't move on in today's class. It's just that there's things that I taught that you just won't know yet until you take that class, and it's, if they build upon each other, then I'll teach you that again. If not, that's fine. All right, so everyone, let's open a window. Notice that from the very top, you know what, by the way, Cassie, that sound, the bzzz that we were
Yeah.
feeling, it started
my-
again. So I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna
Yeah,
mute-
I
mute.
think it's my computer. It makes like a blowing sound.
Is that your new computer?
No, it's my old one.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
I'll turn my audio off.
Yeah, I can just mute you. But just know, because now you're muted, that whenever you speak to me, there's a quick way for you to unmute yourself. If you just need to say a quick question, which is you hold the space bar, and while you talk, you hold the space bar down, that unmutes you. And then when you're done talking, you let go of the space bar, and then it goes back to being muted. Now, this guy works when you're having Zoom as your main program. If you instead you're working on another program, that spacebar thing doesn't work. Okay, but if Zoom is your main program, that works. So since sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, people think it doesn't work all the time. It's just because whatever you're working on, I'm teaching you how to use computers. So what if you're working on the Finder, because that's what you're doing, then you try to do the spacebar, and that unmute thing doesn't work. And so, you know, people get confused. Most other classes, you just have Zoom on and you watch. So the spacebar thing always works, but not here, because we're touching our computer in a different area. In case some of you thought why it does or doesn't work. Okay. So here we have a window that has some stuff. And what's the stuff that it has? Well, since it says recents here, this is not organized material. Anything that you see under recents, or anything you see under all files, for those of you who have the older version of the computer, anything you see under all files or recents, which is the default setting, is not showing you things that are in any particular place or part of your computer. It's kind of giving you an overview of the latest files that you've opened, the files that you've opened last. That's all that means. So what it means is that if I look at this list, it's written in alphabetical order, not alphabetical. It's written in like over here, you see the date last opened. If you click on that, then you'll notice that it has dates, and they go all the way from October 1st. And if you were to be able to scroll down, and then it says June, and then May, and then it keeps going down, you know, in time. So it just means that you've been opening these files and they show up here. This is not where they are. This is just a quick access to them, just like the doc is a quick access to the applications. The doc is not living in the doc. I showed you where these applications live. They live in the applications folder. This is their actual storage spot. Imagine you have a file cabinet next to your computer, and you have to go find an application. You would open a drawer, and in the bottom of the fourth drawer in the back, that's where you would find your applications. That's kind of what this is. The applications live somewhere, the desktop lives somewhere, the downloads live somewhere. Each is a different drawer that came with your computer, right? So the Mac, when it came with a desktop drawer, a downloads drawer, an applications drawer. These are actual places on your computer. Recents, on the other hand, is something that in real life we can't imitate. It's as if everything was nicely put away in your computer where they belong, but everything that, if you don't want to have to open the drawer and open up and search through everything, put out, you know, the last electricity bill from, or, you know, when you have to sign up to things, they want to see your last pay stub or the last electricity bill to prove that you live here or whatever, you'd have to go and search for stuff. So then what Recents does is it gives you a link to those files and says, oh, you just used this one in May, so maybe you want it again. This, you just used this one in November, maybe you want it again. So it's putting out under recents just a link to what you might want to use last. So those of you who have all files, that's different. It wasn't very useful, so they got rid of that one. Basically, I'm going to ignore recents and all files. I'm not going to use either one of those. All the ones that we're going to talk about is that where things are actually stored, which are applications, desktop, downloads, and documents. Those are the folders that we're going to be talking about. As you can see, there's also something called iCloud Drive, and AirDrop, and some of you might have some more. Some of you might have something that says pictures and music and media. There's a whole bunch of stuff that could be appearing over here for you guys. And all of those are valid if you just opened up and bought your computer and didn't have stuff from the past, then this is what you'll have. If perchance you have been having your computer for a long time and you've been upgrading on and on and on, then you'll see things like pictures and music and media. And so maybe Sarah, some of you guys who have the older versions, you might see these other icons in there. Okay.
Diana,
Yes.
so on the recents, do they erase by themselves, or we have to delete them? So do they occupy storage by being there, or do we need to delete them? Because I just realized I clicked on one and I saw that it was a picture I sent to my classmates, but those pictures were also in my photo gallery, the original, so I don't need it to be in here in the recent. So my question was, do they delete by themselves, or we have to manually delete it, or do they occupy space in the storage in such a way that there's no need for it to be on this recent?
Okay, it's a great question. And that's why the recents is confusing, because I need to first explain a little bit more about where things are, and then you'll understand the recents a bit more. But no, recents does not occupy more space. Recents is just a quick link to the file, wherever that file is.
Okay.
So again, when I want to open the contacts application, I could either go all the way into the Finder, open a Finder window, go to my applications, go down and find contacts, and there it is, and open it up. I can do everything I just showed you. Or there's a convenient little link here that is not another application. It's a link, it's like the light switch that allows me to click on this and open contacts. So it's a light switch that when I click on this, it turns on the light in my middle of my living room. That's what this is, okay? So recents is exactly the same, but instead of for applications, it's for files. So say that this is a sign, say that this is something that I just, where is this one? It's the screenshot, okay? This screenshot here, okay, is that QR code. Now, this is when, I would prefer to explain the rest first, but since I had to talk about recents because it's for Beeland, let me explain it. This screenshot lives somewhere. It doesn't live in recents. It lives somewhere in my computer. How do I know where it lives? I look at this path bar right here that I had you guys turn on, and it's telling me that it lives in the iCloud Drive on my desktop, and there is my screenshot name. Okay, that's where it lives. And you're right, it's on my desktop, and there it is. It lives, there is the file. It's that same one. It's the one from 19:13 a.m. That's the file. It lives on my desktop. This is just a quick way to find it. That's all the recents is, but each one of these lives somewhere. So look, I'm going to click on this icon right there. Whatever, you guys click on whatever you have. Where does it live? It lives in my downloads. Okay, how about this one? That one lives in my downloads for iLife New Fall Class. Where does this one live? That one lives in my downloads for New iLife. How about this one? Again, I have a lot of files here for iLife. How about this one? Applications SBCC. So to add a class, where it's in my documents, applications to add a class. So each one of the files has the place they live in, and it's telling you where they are. But these are in case, and a lot of people never took this class. They don't know how to find their files. So this is a way to quickly access files that you have worked on if you don't even know where they are. So one of the points of this class is to teach you to know where these things are. And I will teach you how to find out where things are and where to put them. But a lot of people don't know. They finish writing a letter, they save it, they close the program, and then when they try to find that letter, they don't know how to find it. Where did that letter go? So the recents folder is basically, well, if you don't really know where you go, at least you might remember that you worked on it last month. So you go over here by date and you go, oh, there it was in September. So you click on that and there you go. You managed to find the file, even though you have no idea where it is. By date, a little link here has been placed to this file that actually lives in the downloads folder and that you can open, but you never knew where it was. And so that's all this is. It's kind of like a listing of what you have used by time, by date, so that you can find it without having to actually know how to find it and where you put it. Okay. It can be anywhere, and this is how you find them quickly, but it is not a duplicate. It is a link. It's like a light switch that if I click on this, that actual file that is in my downloads were open. So I'm going to actually double click on it. Let me do that. And it's a PDF document and it's supposed to be in my download. So I'm going to double click on it and it opened up. And this is, oh, and it opened up in my other screen though, so you guys can't see it. So hold on, I need to bring it open because I'm showing you a secondary screen. And this is what that file was. It was a screenshot of something that I wanted to see. And here it is. It's a PDF. It's not a screenshot. And I kept it. But this lives somewhere else, but I didn't know where it was. So this was my solution, to look in the recents and go backwards and open it up that way. Okay.
Adriana,
Yes.
on the path, most of this on the recent shows that it lives in the iCloud. If
Mhm.
I delete it, will it also delete in the iCloud?
Yes. So I'm gonna move on to explain all of these things, and then you'll know where things are right now, what those places are, what those things are. But yes, if you see something here and it's a link that acts as if it's the same file, and if you delete it from here, it'll delete from everywhere, because this is not a duplicate. So remember, it is not a duplicate. So if you delete it, it will delete from wherever it lives.
Oh,
This is why these things don't take up space in your computer, because these are not files. These are links to the file. And if you delete it, you're deleting the file. It is one time, which is the good news is no, it doesn't take up, it doesn't duplicate space on your computer. But B, it is actually accessing the one file that you have. And thus, if you delete it, it deletes itself everywhere.
okay,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. But for you, it might have said it was in the iCloud. For someone else, it might have said it was in your Macintosh computer. That's the part that I want to explain next. Where are these things, and where do they, what is truly on your computer and when is not? Okay. So everyone go ahead and click on the word downloads. Everyone click on downloads. Yes, Julie?
I have a question. When I highlight applications, I get those two gray bars at the bottom. One says 48 items and the other one says Macintosh HD applications.
Yeah.
However, if I put my cursor on recents, all I have on the gray bar says 536 items.
Mhm.
And yet when you put it on recent, it showed,
No. When I go to recents, it just shows how many items I had clicked on something, and it showed me more information. But if you don't click on anything, if you just hold the folder,
okay,
it just tells
okay.
you what's in them. So
okay. Thank you.
recents on its own just tells you how many items you have.
I see.
Okay. But this is not one of those places. I wish we could just ignore everyone. Can you ignore recents for a little bit? Because it's so different than everything else that's here, that then it begins to get a little bit confusing because you go, oh, I have 122 items here, and then I have some there. No, it just means that it's the history that you've compiled on your computer. It has 500. Someone else who doesn't use many files has 200. Someone might have 2,000. But these are not items. These are links to the things that you've done. So can we all, for now, until you understand better where things go, which is what I'm about to start explaining, and it'll take quite a few classes to get this clear. Then when you understand where things go on your computers, then you will understand recents a little bit better. So for now, I beg you hold your recents questions, which is bizarre to say that because when you open up the Finder, where does it land? It lands on recents. So it's like, come on, how come it lands on recents? Why couldn't you understand? It's because people who don't know file management and don't know where to find this stuff, well, they can always kind of find it there. It's like saying, since I don't know where my clothes is, if I spread it all over my room, I'll look over and I'll see my pink shirt. Okay, so I'll find it. So that's kind of what this is. But ideally, you'd be able to walk in your room and know which drawer to go to open that drawer to find your pink shirt. And that is what I'm going to explain now, where things truly are. Okay. So let's ignore recents as far as understanding it, because you can't, it's like a step B. You can't understand what that is while I'm trying to explain what these other guys are. Okay.
Okay. Mhm.
So applications, downloads, etc. Anything you click here will give you a general answer down there.
Okay.
So downloads gives you a general answer, but when you click on something inside, then it gives you a more specific answer. So that was your question. So for now, I want you guys to go between applications and downloads. Those two, if I look down here, I will see that they always say that they start in the Macintosh hard drive. Applications, Macintosh hard drive, downloads, Macintosh hard drive. Okay, so those two things for sure, for every single person in this classroom, say Macintosh hard drive, right? Is
Yeah.
everyone in agreement with that? Okay, Cassie, you're not in agreement with that? What does yours say? I can't hear you.
So I forgot how you get the bar at the bottom saying the Macintosh downloads.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
the
because
very-
you're in the new computer. That's true. So go up to view and say show. You will see the word show path bar. Click on it, and then you will see show status bar and click on it.
Show
that-
tab and status.
Show tab, show status, and show path. These three.
Show, okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's
Okay.
fine.
Show path. Show
Show
status.
bar and show tab bar.
Okay, so now it should be down at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
It should
So
say.
now
it
when you
says-
click on applications and downloads, you should see the word Macintosh right there. Actually,
Okay.
Cassie, next time, for now, that's fine, but next time you connect to the class, do it the other way around. Make the sound on your new computer be available and mute the sound on your other one. That way you won't have
Okay.
this issue and you can just speak without having to mute yourself, okay?
Okay,
I
but
tried on my computer, I can't do it. I went to file and I review and I see show the status bar, but all I have is hide. I don't see a status bar in the bottom. All I have is my tabs.
Okay,
My-
so
my-
it's the show path, what this thing that says Macintosh is the path bar. So did you say show path bar?
All it has is the little bar in the bottom. I guess it's called the taskbar. Is that what you call it, or the dock? It shows the dock, but I show nothing else. I go to view, and
Do you have a window open that you have
yeah,
prioritized? Okay, and when you go to view, what do you see here? What do you read these three? What do you have? You have show or hide tab bar.
it says hide toolbar, hide tab bar, hide status bar.
And you
So
don't
I must
see
be
the,
not-
it doesn't say path bar?
I have to, okay, I don't know. No, it doesn't. It says hide them all. Hide toolbar, show all tabs, but they're all
But you haven't
Label.
read out the word path bar. Do you see hide path bar?
I see hide,
Oh.
No,
You've
I
read
don't.
tab and status. You didn't read path. That's what's confusing to me. Okay,
Right.
it's like that is not existing for you.
I guess not, because it's all grayed out. All I have is use, stack, sort by, clean up by, customize touch bar, show view options.
Okay, so that's interesting. Can you share your screen with me? Everyone has to do it one time for the first time.
I don't have my, looking at you on my iPad. Do you want me to go?
All right. Yeah, this doesn't work for me because I can't help you if you don't connect from the computer that you're using, because
I'll
then
do.
we spend
I'll do that
hours
now.
of you reading things out to me and it doesn't work. So everyone who has a question, I can, when the question isn't enough, like when I can't see what you're seeing, I need you to be able to share your screen. So you need to be connected to Zoom on the computer that you're doing the work on, because that's the one, otherwise 10 minutes of explanation doesn't do it. It's like, if that bar is not there, I can look around and find it, but if not, I can't help you. So yeah, whenever you're connected on the other one, let me know. Well, I'll see you pop in and then we can answer your question. Meanwhile, I'll continue. So I'm going to, I'm actually
Diana,
going to
I have one
change.
question.
Yes,
So the first icon that we see Macintosh is the hard drive, right?
yes.
Okay. Okay.
So right now, applications and downloads shows us that it says hard drive. What does that mean? Is that anything that's in the downloads folder and anything that's in the applications folder lives on your actual computer. It's really on your computer. It's in your Macintosh's hard drive. So applications will always be on your computer because that's the thing that needs to run your programs. It's your hard drive. Anything you download from the internet, it's because you want it not on the internet, but you want it on your computer. So anything that's in your downloads also lives on your computer. Now, what might be surprising to a lot of people or not is that things that you see on your desktop might not be on your desktop. I'm going to click on my desktop. And in my case, it does not say Macintosh hard drive. It says iCloud drive. So everyone click on the word desktop and then go down here and check if yours is on the Macintosh hard drive as you might have thought it was, or if it's in your iCloud drive. And now I'm going to clear answers. I see your hand is up, Cassie, but I'm going to clear everyone's answers because I need you to vote and I need to see that vote. How many of you, when you click on the word desktop, do you see a little icon for the Macintosh hard drive here? Give me a yes. If you see a little thing that says iCloud drive, give me a no. So a no means iCloud, a yes means Macintosh. All right, so I'm expecting this to be about half and half, and yeah, or it does seem to be that way. So once again, I'm going to tell you what the colors are. So yes, green, yes, means you see Macintosh hard drive. And red, no, means you see iCloud. Okay. And Cassie, I'm gonna mute you again because the sound is intense. Okay, so now Charlie has entered with his other computer. Okay, so I'm looking at you guys and what I am seeing is I need to see everyone answering. So I guess the only one who hasn't answered is Charlie. And then Doran, what are you seeing on your laptop? Because you're connected with your iPad right now, but on your laptop, where do you have your stuff? In your computer, Macintosh hard drive, or is it in the cloud? All right, Charlie. Are you there? No, you've connected. Can you hear me, Charlie? Charles? All right, well, I guess you're not hearing me right
No,
now.
I'm hearing you.
Oh,
I'm
there you
hearing
are.
now. I'm sorry, I gotta do.
That's okay. So what you need to do is you need to go down to the volume, the mute button where you see the microphone. And you need to click on the little triangle that's right next to the mute button. And as soon as you click on that little triangle that pointing up, a menu will appear and you need to go to the second choice from the bottom up is leave computer audio. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm on mine. Wow, but I don't know why I'm hearing double.
I'm explaining how to stop the double.
So
Go
I shut
to,
off my. Wait a minute.
no, that's, you just muted it, which is different than leaving it. Even if it's muted, the reverb still happens. You actually need to disconnect the audio from one of your two devices. So go to your,
Done now.
someone left.
Okay, let me.
Oh, you
do
left,
something else here.
you disconnected from the iPad then. Okay, you didn't need to do that. You can have both running. You just need to disconnect the audio for one of them, but
Try something
whatever,
else.
that's a solution.
I hear you
Okay.
now.
All right.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but I would rather next time that you keep both.
Do you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Next time you can keep both connected. You just need to have no audio on one of them. So
Okay.
next time I'll show you, but right now you're on one and you're not doing reverb. So now, can you open a Finder window, click on your desktop icon and tell me if you're on the iCloud drive or in the Macintosh hard drive, your desktop, what icon does it show? If it's green, click on green if it says Macintosh and click on red if it says hard drive.
Ye-
This part that I'm teaching right now is the part that's the hardest to comprehend. So keep your eyes open. We're about to go on a break. We'll talk about it after break too, but if you need to drink some coffee and come back, because this is something that you need to wrap your brain about. Because if you see stuff on your desktop, you thought it was on your computer. And for those of you who gave me a check mark, yeah, that stuff is on your computer. For those of you who gave me a red no, well, no, the stuff is not on your computer. It's up in the cloud. So what you are seeing is a link to that file that's in the cloud. And it represents, and it looks as if it's in your desktop, but really it's actually stored in the cloud. So it's in both places, but this is just a link to what's in the cloud. This isn't two files. It's same question that Yolanda had before. Is it two files? No, it is one file, but it is popping up on your computer. This is for the iCloud people, but it really isn't living there. So there's good and bad to all of this. So neither set here is in a good or in a bad situation. It's just different. And I need to tell you guys how to handle it either way. Okay, so Charles, what do you see? Do you see yours in the?
All I see is Zoom. It says Zoom US, and I can't tell anything. I can't see. I go to view, and it says show manage participant show. So it's always in the Zoom. It's
Okay,
not.
so that's why I was hoping you'd have kept your, because now since it's the first time you have only the computer without your iPad, you're just seeing Zoom. So you need to scooch everything to the side so you can work sideways, halfways with your computer. I need you to open a Finder window on your computer. Maybe during break, connect again with your iPad so that you
Okay.
can keep viewing the course on your iPad. And then on this computer, you can just minimize Zoom and just use your computer to work.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'll do that.
All right. So basically right now, what this is telling us here is that the applications and the downloads always live on your computer no matter what. And for half of you guys, the desktop is in your computer, and for the other half is in the cloud. And the same thing with documents. If you click on the documents icon for the same half, if your desktop was in the cloud, so will your documents. And if your desktop was in the Macintosh, so will your documents, okay? So desktop and documents, desktop shows up here and here, but it's the exact same spot. Sometimes it shows up twice, sometimes it shows up once. It doesn't really matter. For most of you guys, it might only show up here, desktop and documents. These, if your hard drive shows that it holds the documents, your hard drive will also hold the desktop. If it holds if the iCloud holds your desktop documents, then the cloud will also see your desktop. They're always exactly the same. Okay. So what this means is that when you set up your computer or somebody set up your computer for you, when you're doing the setup, one of the questions is, do you want your documents to be in the cloud? And if you answered yes, or there's a small choice at the bottom that says no or skip. Most people don't do that. Most people automatically kind of keep doing the setup the way they are. Or if they did the setup for you at the Mac store, the default choice, the choice that is being made for you, unless you choose differently, is that all the stuff on your computer lives in the cloud. That's the default choice. So in order to not have the stuff on the cloud, you need to have either read that, interpreted it correctly and said no, or it could be that you have it grandfathered in, that you've been upgrading and you always had them on the desktop and they stayed on the desktop. But for people who have newer computers, this choice wasn't an option. It just gave you in the installation that little moment of choice. And so your stuff went to the desktop. Those of you who had a computer from before and your stuff was on your computer, then it kind of stayed on your computer unless you chose otherwise. So that's why there's kind of this half and half. Now I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain the good and the bad of it. I'll explain to you what to do about it. And we're going to move forward from there. But first of all, you need to understand, if you have your stuff in the desktop, in the cloud, then the main place that your files reside is in the cloud. The goods and the bads of that will come after break. If it's on the computer, the goods and the bads of that will come after break. My point is to teach you the good and the bad of both options. And then you can choose if you want to stay where you are or if you want to go somewhere else. Or if the people who have stuff on the hard drive want to move it into the cloud, the people who have it in the cloud who move it onto the hard drive. You guys can make your own choices once you truly understand. Right now, I don't want anyone to be flipping or switching. I want you to begin to understand where the stuff lives, why it lives there. And then after serious consideration and practice, then you can decide to switch if you want to switch, either way. Okay. So now let's first, after this surprising item of news, which you had no idea could happen. Let's take a break, have some coffee, walk around the house or the block so that you can come refreshed. So we'll meet you, it's 10:27. That's me right in the chat, be back. Bye. And we're going to take 15 minutes, which is, somebody help me figure it out, 10:27, 10:37 plus 5, 10:42. Did I do that right? 10:42 a.m. I have been known to do this incorrectly. So is that 15 minutes? Oh,
Close enough.
be back by 10:42 a.m. 10:42 a.m. All right. See you guys in a little bit. I'm going to mute everyone.
Ann, can you hear me? Jeannie, can you hear me? I can't hear. Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. You have a
I
reverberation.
can hear you, Charles. So what I need you to do, Charles, is to choose, go to your laptop and turn the sound off on your laptop so that we can have only the sound down on your iPad. So can you follow my instructions with your mouse? Go to your laptop, and in the Zoom section where you see the microphone, the one that says mute, the little icon on the bottom left, you need to go to that, and there's a teensy little arrow right next to it that's pointing upwards. You need to click on that, and there you see the choice for audio settings, leave computer audio. Do you hear me? You need to unmute yourself on something. There you go. You're
I
turning the
left
sound
computer
off.
audio on my computer.
Perfect. Now you're fine. Now you're only sounding one time. Great. That's what we wanted. So now you can see me on one and you can view the other. All right. So now can you go to your Finder window, and can you go click on your desktop or documents and report to me in the path bar whether you see cloud. Oh, you were seeing the path bar. That was the whole point. So you need to share with me your screen from your laptop. Okay. So have you ever shared your screen before from your laptop? Your sound is off, so you need to unmute yourself. And now you can stay unmuted because now you're not sounding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went to the share, and I hit the button, and now all I see is
Now you see on the bottom right, there's another button that says
Yeah.
share. That's the second one you need to click on. Click on that
an
share
open
as well.
system. Okay.
Yeah,
open-
so open system preferences, go in, and when you do that,
Yeah, I think.
you'll see at the bottom left a little lock that you need to click on. Click on the
Oh.
lock and then type in your computer password
Okay.
and tell me when you're done with that. And I'll
Okay.
tell you what else to do. Did you put in
I'm
your
unlocked.
password?
I'm unlocked. Yes.
Okay, so now go up and in the middle of the system preference box, you'll see the word Zoom and a checkbox next to it needs to be checked.
Let me see. I'm in system preferences. the
Yes, so
top
in the
of the-
system preferences in the middle, you have a box that says Zoom, but the checkbox next to it is unchecked. You need to check it.
Because I don't see any Zoom here. I see about system preferences, erase all content and settings, services, hide system preferences, quit system preferences. Maybe it's a bottom. Maybe I'll do the bottom.
No, but no. You were in the security and privacy section of system preferences. That's where you ended up. Okay.
Yeah.
So if not, go back to the system preferences, security and privacy. And
Okay.
then on the privacy. So up on top, you
Zoom.
see general 5-volt privacy. Do you see the
Yeah.
Zoom now?
Yeah,
Okay, click right next to that.
okay,
And then it says, tell me what it says, something like leave or something like that, right?
yeah, it says leave, yes.
Okay, good. You can say later. Does it say later?
Yeah, it did be later, yeah, I had
Okay,
put
so
later.
great, click on later. And
Yeah, I did.
now, okay, now go back to Zoom and do the whole share screen again, and this time it'll work. And then that's it. You set it up once, you don't need to do it again.
Okay, thank you,
In the future, share will just be one step
okay.
or
I
two
hit share,
steps. Click the
and I
share button, and
open
then
system.
on the bottom right, you'll see another share. Did it say open screen preferences again?
Yeah. Clicking that again.
Had you not?
I did
maybe-
before. Well, then let me do this all over again.
Yeah, maybe you didn't
Okay, I hit.
check the
Okay,
box.
but it says, because it says open system preferences again, and I'm gonna do, I don't know, oh well.
Well, do it again, then maybe you didn't complete the process. Open
Okay.
system preferences again, unlock, and this time check the Zoom, and then read to me whatever you see to make sure that you click on the right choice.
Zoom will not be able to record the
That's
contents.
fine, that's fine.
Quit and
Say
reopen.
okay to
Already.
that. But what are the choices?
Later or quit and reopen.
Okay, just later.
Okay. All right, now what I see is I see Zoom with the check, Zoom US with the checkbox there.
Okay,
Maybe.
so now go back to the Zoom where you see me talking, or you see my screen. Click on the share screen button again.
Okay.
Mhm. And then
Okay,
after you share screen button, on the right side, you see another button that says share, bottom right, a
Yeah.
small button. There we go. So now you're sharing. Okay. All right. So now let's close the system preferences because we don't need those right now. I mean, we will
Oh.
need them, but not right now.
okay,
Close system preferences, say deny to that.
okay,
And then now you need to turn on, no, that's what we
Oh.
want. So open
Oh.
that one again. So click, open a Finder window again. That's what we
Okay.
need. Finder window again. Okay, now go up to view,
oh, wait,
view at the top right next. to
Oh,
the
I see.
very view. And then you have to say, show
get it.
tab bar, show path bar, show status bar. So show tab bar, go up to view again. Show path bar,
so path bar,
but no, path bar, yep. Both, you need to go again and again, and then go up to view
Okay.
again. And show status bar.
okay,
There we go. So now you have your bars there. Now go on the left, click on the word applications. No, don't turn this off.
no, I got it,
Click on it, yeah.
yeah, I got-
All right, so in the bottom.
Yep.
Now in the path bar that you just turned on, see how it says Macintosh hard drive to your
Yes,
left? You
yeah.
see it says Macintosh hard drive.
yeah,
Now, let's see where your desktop, click on your desktop icon, right under applications says desktop. Okay, and that also says Macintosh hard drive.
yes, it does.
So in the answers, now you go and you click a little red no. And you do
Okay.
that on your, I guess, do that on your iPad where you're watching me, where you can
Okay.
do the check-ins, and here, just leave this
Okay.
computer for working. So your stuff is on your computer, not on your cloud. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Now, why don't you stay there for a second? Keep
Okay.
showing it,
okay.
because what you're showing is Big Sur.
Monterey,
No, Monterey. I'm sorry. You're the only person here who is on Monterey. As I was trying to say, you have the newest version.
Yeah.
And you guys can see that between what I was sharing, which is 2 down, mine is Catalina. Next week I'll be Big Sur with everything. Cross all our fingers. That I had an issue with my hard drive, so that's why I didn't switch for today. You guys mostly have Big Sur, and some people have Catalina or older. And this is Monterey. So once again, the background has changed. As you can see, the desktop screen has its own look for Monterey, as opposed to Big Sur, as opposed to Catalina, where we still had photos. And everything looks a little bit more stylized. Things are, can you see how the boxes are kind of rounded out and stuff like, but basically the tools are all the same, right? Right there, when you click on that, it says Macintosh hard drive. The status bar still tells you what's in each one. Now, go back to applications where I know that there's stuff, because your desktop doesn't have anything. So go back to applications where there's stuff. So right now you're viewing things by icon, and those choices are up right above where it says FaceTime, right above that, you see some icons. Can you go to those little icons right above the word applications? So go to FaceTime. See FaceTime? Don't click on
Yeah.
it, but yeah, okay, right above that.
Yeah.
Right above that, yeah. You see an icon there that's for four little windows. That's showing, that's kind of grayed out. That's showing things by icons. Right next to it, to the right, there's a little lines with a dot. Yeah.
Okay, I got it now. Yeah.
Yeah, so click on those little lines with dots. That's the right next to the four squares that you were before.
Right here.
No,
Right here.
no. Go to the first one, the four squares.
I'm sorry.
That one. That's the view by icons. Right next to it is a
Oh,
little line there. That is viewing by list. And right now I am showing things in viewing by list. Right next to that is viewing by column. Go to the right one more time. That's viewing by column. We're going to be working between these three, between the main ones that I'll be using is this one by column and one to the left, which is view by list. One to the left again.
okay.
Move it to the left,
Oh,
view by,
yeah.
no, left is the other way. No, the
Oh,
other direction.
sorry.
That one. That's fine. It's
Okay.
hard when you're when you're
Yeah.
kind of put on show, it's always a little bit hard. So
Okay.
one to the left now. That's there. That's the one that I want you to leave it on. And now move the window again, because you kind of went to the gray area and screen and move it to the right, move it to the right. So we can all keep going to the right, to the right, to the right. There you go. No,
Oh, because,
no.
well,
Right
I
there.
was- okay.
Because now we can see your
On-
sidebar. The sidebar is on the left side. It's the thing that says, airdrops, applications, desktop documents, download. So that is the one that we always need to see. If on the right side, something is bugging you and you're needing something there, you can make the window smaller. You can go put your mouse on the edge of the window and just make it, grab it and make it a little bit smaller. So this whole window, what we're looking at is always called a window. It's a window into our computer. And if you put your mouse right on the far edge of it, not on the corner, but on the window, put your mouse on the window, on the
Okay.
far right, on
Okay. there.
any of the edges, it doesn't matter which, but I'm not seeing your mouse on the window. I'm seeing it off on some pink area of the desktop. So put it on the edge of the window, the part that's white. Yeah, and that
Oh.
makes it go up. Exactly. When it comes double-headed arrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it down a little bit more. It's the tip of your mouse. Yeah. Now you can go up or down and make it bigger or smaller. Okay. And now if you instead put your mouse on the right side or on the left side, go and then put your mouse on the same edge.
Oh, yeah,
I
it's
want
there.
you to- Mhm.
It's there on that edge. You see it?
No, I'm
I'm
seeing
sorry.
it on the corner and I want you to have it be on the whole side of it, not on the corner.
Yeah, that's right. I'm
And
on the
now-
whole,
I'm seeing it on the corner. So I need it on the sides, right or left, and then you can make it whiter or
am I right here?
thinner.
Is
Nope.
that it?
no, on the fall edge. Go to the right side, right, completely the other side. Okay, move your mouse completely the other way to the other side of your screen. Keep going,
Oh.
keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going,
See,
keep
what
going.
happens, I can't because I have all the pictures of the people in the
Oh,
class.
you have the Zoom in the way. Okay, so click, you don't need that because you're looking at Zoom in the other screen. So you can go to the Zoom pictures of people's and there's this little bars you see at the very top. You see that it says one little line or a big bar or a
Yeah.
taller bar. Click on the little line so that all those people minimize into one tiny little thing. So at the very top, and then they'll disappear because you
Like
don't
me?
need, yeah, about there. Click on that and
And-
all the people will disappear. Now you'll have your entire screen just to do the work. Okay.
Because I still see the people. I hit the three buttons here and it
Yeah.
says show self view or pin. And
Okay, so there's one that's like a little line and that's the one that makes it little tiny. And it goes and becomes only one
I only have
person.
three little dots on the top.
Not the three little dots. No, right to the left of that, there's a little bar or a smaller bar or a little line.
I don't see it. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I see what you mean. I
Mhm.
understand what you mean now. Yeah. Well, it's out of the way now anyway. so
There
it's
you
just-
go. That's it. I wanted it out of the way. Okay, so
Yeah.
now you can see the right side of your window, which you couldn't see before. So move your mouse down. And guys, this is very important what I'm about to say. Watch the screen. it's never, the mouse is never the whole arrow. It's the tip of the arrow that matters. So put the tip of your arrow on the edge of this window, the actual tip, touch the tip. Yeah. See, the moment the tip of his arrow touched the tip, it turned into a double-headed arrow. Now click and drag and move it a little bit in or a little bit out. Okay. And now move it a little bit in because smaller. Okay. So move your mouse. Okay. We're done. That's what I was asking you to do, but you had the Zoom people there, so you couldn't do it. So now it's working. Everyone, this is so important. It's the tip of your mouse. So now move your mouse around a little bit again. Notice that he has his mouse made bigger. Some of you guys might be envious and might go, oh my God, I want a big mouse. And some of you guys might be like, why is the mouse so big? It's something you can change, okay? But what's really important when it gets this big is that the whole thing is big for you to see it, but the only part of the mouse that makes any difference is the tip. So if you put your entire mouse over the edge, nothing will happen. It's when the tip of the mouse touches the edge,
Yeah.
there we go, that something happens, okay? So that's to make the sidebar bigger or smaller. And
Yeah.
so if you click and drag, you'll make the sidebar bigger or smaller right now. So see how he's putting his mouse in that line in between the two edges and two arrow, and then now he can make it bigger or smaller. You can go and make it way bigger now just to test it. But see, it only activates the moment the tip of his mouse touches. So you guys, if you want to go and make your sidebar bigger or smaller, put your mouse like that in the middle and it'll get two-headed arrow. You can change the sizes of anything. But once again, now he put his tip of his mouth on that thing. The moment you move your mouse away, so go ahead and move your mouse away now. It just doesn't work anymore. So that whole rest of the mouse is useless. It's only the very tip. The bigger the mouse is, it becomes a little bit harder to be accurate because you kind of want the whole thing to work, but no, it's only the tip. Okay, perfect. I'm going to stop your share. Thank you for sharing your Monterey screen with us.
Yep. The only thing good about Monterey is if you want to reset the whole thing, you just go to system preferences and just erase everything. You don't have to go through all this other rigmarole.
That's interesting. That would be really, really dangerous if it's so easy.
It is.
So I'm not sure it's possible, really, because then people are going to empty out their computers all the time. I'll look
So I
into
have
that.
to go.
Yeah, system preferences should not reset your entire computer. Meaning erase everything, but I'll look into what you're saying because I have not read about the system preferences in Monterey yet. Okay. Oh, and you also have Monterey. All right. So two of you guys have Monterey. Cool. All right. So I'm going to share my screen now again. And we had left our class before break where we were discovering, for some of you to your surprise, and for some of you already know this, that your stuff could be either on your computer or on your hard drive. We just discovered that Charlie's is on his computer, and everyone else here, let me see. So Doran's stuff is on his computer, so is Yolanda's. I think you guys might have turned off. I think Paul's, who is now turned off, but his was on his computer as well, and so is Anne's. Versus Cassie and Sarah. Oh, no, is that the other way around? Let me see what color I had told you. Green is on the computer. It's the opposite. It's exactly the opposite of what I was saying. I'm sorry. Green. So Sarah, Jeannie, Vera, Julie, and Cassie, your stuff says Macintosh hard drive. And Doran, Yolanda, Patricia, yours turned off, so I don't know. Paul, yours is turned off, so I need to know. Marcia, yours is turned off. So if you're all there, I need you to turn on the yes or the no again, because it's confusing to me. Green.
Yeah,
is
Diana?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure now that I went back and looked at it. Could I share my computer with you? And show
Yes,
you?
please, definitely. This is why I need to see yeses or nos, and I'm going to take a screenshot. So Marcia, if you're there or if you're hearing me,
So,
Charlie, can you please give a green yes on your computer? Because that means that yours is on the Macintosh hard drive. Perfect. And Paul, share your screen.
yeah, I'm going to go to, I'm going to here. Okay. User.
So you click on the word share screen, and then you have to
yeah.
click again on the far right.
Right. I need,
Another button that says share.
I need to, yeah, there we go. I need to,
Is it sending you to the system preferences?
Yeah, I'm just making you bigger and share screen.
And then there's a second share button on the bottom right of that.
Bottom right, oh, share, okay.
Mhm. And if this is, there we go. So see you guys, once you've already done the whole permissions thing, it's just that. It's all you need to do. You don't need to do it again and again. Okay, so can you
So-
open that window? There you
So there we
go.
go. And so when I go up to desktop,
Yeah,
yeah, hold on.
yeah, right there, desktop. Mhm.
I get
It's-
this.
It says on Macintosh. Yeah, so your desktop is on your Macintosh. So your stuff is on your computer and your
That's right. Okay, good,
documents
good,
too.
good. Okay, thank you. That answers
Okay.
that question.
Yep. And
Okay.
then notice that everyone sees either the Macintosh or the iCloud, but everyone does see something there that says iCloud, right? So can you go click
Mhm.
for a second on that thing that says iCloud Drive?
Right here?
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Okay, so notice that everyone go click on your thing that says iCloud Drive. And what you will see here will be different depending on whether your stuff is on your computer or on your hard drive. So in his case, we've confirmed that his desktop and his documents and his downloads and his applications, every single thing is truly on his computer. So then what's in the iCloud? Well, in the iCloud, you can see that he has access to something called numbers and pages. So if he writes in the numbers application, which is
Right.
like Excel, or in the pages application, he could choose to save his stuff that he makes in the cloud, or he can choose to save them on his computer, but there's a folder available for it. On the other hand, he has a couple other things that are available, including a downloads, which it's a different downloads than the downloads from his computer. Okay, go click for a second on that word downloads that's inside. Yeah. And there's nothing there. Now go click on the downloads that's on your sidebar. Oh, you actually have nothing.
No, I have a bunch of stuff. It's
It's just
loading it.
reading it. It's just loading. I was gonna say, that's surprising. And see, this downloads does have a bunch of stuff, okay? So those two downloads are different things. We'll talk about them in a minute. But right now, all that matters with his computer is that everything is on his computer. Everything is on his computer. For
Mhm.
those of you whom the desktop and documents, so I'm gonna stop your share right now, and I'm gonna
Okay.
ask someone who said red. So someone whose stuff is red, can you please share your screen? It could be either Marcia or Anne or Yolanda. Anyone whose choice was red, which means
I
that your
will.
stuff is on the cloud.
Deanna, are you still asking about desktop or are you asking now about downloads and applications?
I'm asking about the desktop and documents, which
Oh, and documents. Okay.
if one is in the cloud, the other one's in the cloud. It's the same.
Yes, I have.
So, all right. So now here you see an example of someone whose stuff is on the cloud. And can you click for a second on desktop and documents? Actually, on the sidebar for now.
On the
Just on the sidebar for now.
Okay, here.
Right there, it says desktop. And if you look down at the path bar, it's pointing to the cloud. Okay, on the path bar, can you point to the path bar when I'm saying that? Down at the path bar, the thing that we turned on. Down, 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 down. Yeah, see how right there it says iCloud Drive, her desktop is an iCloud Drive. And now go to your documents. And all of that is also on the iCloud Drive. So now, you guys are like, but I don't understand what you're talking about. Go to the desktop again. Yeah, and you look on the right side, okay? And on the right side, Yolanda, you see that she has a folder on the desktop that's called WED Poetry. Then you have a folder called Mac Level 1. And you see it both on her actual desktop, like on that blue area that's on, so go to your actual desktop, which by the way, you might have the Zoom stuff in the way, but do you see there all those folders, my memoir, drafts and stuff like that? They are actually visually on her desktop. So you might think that they're living on her computer, but no, if you look here on the left side inside her window, they truly are on the cloud. So now that you've kind of seen what I'm talking about, let me explain about this cloud a little bit more. That said, in her case, to compare to what Paul did, can you now go to the thing that says iCloud Drive there on your sidebar, which is a bit lower down? A bit,
Right, okay.
it's right there. Yeah, there's iCloud Drive. Mhm. So in the iCloud Drive, she has the folder called desktop, and on that one, it's the same things that you're seeing there. She also has a folder called documents, and then she has the same things turned on that Paul had. She has pages, numbers. You might have gotten rid of it because I don't see it. Keynote, shortcuts, downloads. But once again, this downloads, that downloads in the cloud is separate from the downloads that's in your computer. That's the only thing that isn't the same. And I do not know why they have this downloads in the cloud when you also have one on your computer. That's the only thing that I don't see any sense in it. But other than that, these two are the same thing. I'll explain now that you've seen the example of both cases. Now let me explain more about this whole cloud and what is the iCloud Drive and what am I talking about. So I'm going to share screen. This that I'm showing you right now is something that I drew actually during the first version of this class, where I explained that the way, and I'm saying that in the sense that some of you have seen this before, so it's not new to you, but for some of you guys, the first time you see it. And it's a bad drawing on a mouse, and that's why it doesn't look that good, but it works for explaining, which is you all own either a laptop or a desktop right here, Mac OS. This is equivalent. If it's a laptop or a desktop, it doesn't matter. It's operated by the Mac OS, and this is where you either see Big Sur or Monterey or Catalina or, you know, Sierra, or all the options that you have here on the left side. Then you might own a phone or an iPad, and these are operated by the Mac iOS. So it's the operating system for mobile handheld devices. Okay. So I have a phone and an iPad here. Believe it or not, that's what these are supposed to represent. Then there's a third place that in this universe, if you want, of the Apple, there's a third place, which is the iCloud. And the iCloud is an area of the internet owned only by Apple. No one else can get into the iCloud to see your stuff. It's on the internet, but it is completely private. The only way to get in is to have an Apple ID and a password. Now, once you have your Apple ID and your password, then you can go into the iCloud and look at the stuff that you have on the cloud. And what you're going to find is that for some people, it's everything. Like it's your desktop, your documents, your photos, everything that you thought was here is actually on the cloud. For other people, all their stuff is on their computer and the cloud is kind of empty, just sitting there. Now, for better or for worse, I'll tell you the pros and the cons and you can decide, but basically those of you for whom your stuff said Macintosh hard drive, then all your stuff is on your computer. The good and the bad, I'm beginning to explain it now, is, well, if you lose your computer, which it's harder to lose a desktop unless your house gets washed away by a flood. Other than that, or someone comes and steals it, other than that, a desktop tends to stay put versus a laptop. You can lose it, drop it, things can happen to it, forget it somewhere, and it's gone. But in reality, the main problem isn't whether you lose it, but whether it one day decides to become a brick, which means it just dies. Computers do that. One day they were perfectly functional computers, the next day they're a brick. and you don't know why, but that sometimes happens to them. If your stuff, all of the stuff that was your documents, all the stuff you've been making and writing for years, lived only on your computer, guess what happens to all that stuff? It's gone and lost forever. Okay. So if your stuff is on your computer and you want to save it so that it's not gone and lost forever, that's when you have to make a backup. Okay. So you have to back this up, which is one of those things that I'm going to teach you how to do next week. That way, if one of these dies one day and you have to reset your whole computer, then at least the stuff was separately saved on another place as a backup. Okay. Now, if instead the stuff that's on your computer is actually on the cloud, and that would be about half of you guys whose choice was to have things on the cloud, those of you who had a red mark, then if your computer dies or doesn't die, it's inconsequential, because when you buy another computer, you set up your Apple ID and it all comes back into your computer. Okay. So that's the benefit of having your stuff on the cloud. The second option or benefit is if you travel. If you have files on your computer and you have a desktop, you don't travel with your desktop stays home. So you're visiting your daughter in New York, and guess what? You want to access a recipe that you have that you wanted to give her, and you can't because that recipe is sitting on your computer at home. If you brought your laptop with you, you're fine, but maybe you lose it in a taxi and then you can't give her the recipe. Versus if your stuff was on the cloud, then your computer sits at home, you're at your daughter's house, you ask her, can I borrow your computer? You access the cloud and there's your recipe. You can give her your recipe. So basically this stuff is always available from any place, anywhere that you are. Even if you see it on your computer, it's also on the cloud, and that's where it truly resides. So those are two of the positives, and or the negative is you need to have space on the cloud, which means you need to pay for it. Okay. So you can pay a small amount or a medium amount or a bigger amount in order to have more and more space on the cloud for your stuff. So some of you guys have the minimum amount that was given to you for free, which is only 5 gigabytes, and you get that just because you own an Apple ID. Some of you are paying $1.99 a month, and that gives you more space. Let me share my other screen. I'm going to our handouts right now. So this is where we have all of our handouts. And in our handouts, I have a lot of information about the iCloud. And one of the things that I have here is this price list. So if you pay 99 cents a month, you get 50 gigabytes. If you pay $2.99 a month, you get 200 gigabytes of space on the cloud. If you pay $9.99 a month, you get 2 terabytes of space on the cloud. I'd say that most people in this class should be fine with either 50 gigabytes or 200 gigabytes. When you begin to have huge amounts of stuff, you might need to move up to the 2 terabytes a month. Now, 2 terabytes a month, $10 a month, it does add up, you know, $120 at the end of the year. But, you know, 99 cents a month for $12 a year or so, this is much more reasonable price to pay for things, not versus paying for a bigger hard drive. If you buy a new computer and need to buy a bigger hard drive, it's more expensive probably to buy a bigger hard drive than it is to pay $2.99 a month. Once you're getting into the $9.99 a month because you have a stuff, maybe to pay for 2 terabytes for your computer, you'd be paying an extra like $1,000 or something like that on your computer to buy it, to have 2 terabytes on your computer. So it probably is still cheaper to buy space on the cloud in the short run. I don't know how many years it would take to add up of owning a computer with 1,000 terabytes, 2 terabytes versus paying $10 a month. So I haven't made that cost calculation, but in the end, terabyte space something Charles was mentioning the first day we joined is actually pretty expensive. So maybe it's still cheaper to have your stuff online. Depending if you have more than that, then maybe you're better off having a larger hard drive. The whole point is that you need to pay to have this space on the cloud. By the way, these drawings that I'm showing you right now are also in your handouts. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to another. No, to
What
the
happens
sa-
if I
to
buy,
this-
if I buy 2 terabytes for 1 month and I put all my stuff, all my applications on it, then I don't need 2 terabytes, but I still have that 2 terabytes that I can use even though the next month I don't? I lose it.
If you decide to use 2 terabytes and you use it, then you need it. But if you notice that you never go above 200 gigabytes, then you just go back to paying less and you're fine. But if you did put stuff in there and you then start paying less, then there's no space for it. It's going to tell you need to take stuff off before you can pay less, because it's like basically you're moving, you have a house that has a very full house with 5 bedrooms and a garage full of stuff, and you move into an apartment, you're going to have to do something with all that stuff before you can move in, right? So you need to move it out, give it away, donate, sell, and then you can move into a smaller house. Same thing with this. If you used up those 2 terabytes, you can't just pay less because your stuff is still there, and it's going to say, hey, you don't have enough space. You need to take stuff out, unless you're willing to lose it, which this is not the point. We're not trying to lose our stuff. So anyway, if you are paying 99 cents a month and on 50 gigabytes, it starts saying that you need more space, then you need to move up to $2.99. Most of you guys should live in $2.99 for years. It would take quite a bit of extra stuff before you need to start paying more than that. And at some point you'll have more stuff, and then you can start paying $9.99. And I highly doubt you'll have enough stuff to go past that, unless you're a professional photographer, a professional film videographer, animator. Those kind of graphics take up more space than that. Okay, so here's the thing. The other good news about having the stuff on the cloud is that you also have it accessible, not only in your daughter's computer in New York on the cloud, but you also have it accessible on your handheld devices. So if your computer has a file and it's on the cloud, well, guess what? That same file can be seen on your handheld devices. So maybe you have the Pages app or the Word app or the Google Drive app on your handheld device, and you can open up that same thing that you're working on here. You can keep writing on it in your phone or in your iPad, and maybe you're taking notes. I noticed that Yolanda had a folder for memoirs, so maybe she's writing down her memories, and she's writing a story. She's really in the middle of it, but she notices, whoops, I need to go to the doctor. So she takes her iPad with her or her laptop with her to the doctor, and then she sits there, because I don't know about you guys, but I always give the example of the doctor because I happen to have to wait a long time. Every time I take my kids to the pediatrician, it takes like an hour before they see us, and it drives me crazy. Hopefully your doctors are better than that. But when we get there, Yolanda can say, you know what? Pull out your iPhone, pull out your iPad, keep writing. You open up the same document, you keep writing it, you 10 more paragraphs, and then they call you in, you close it, you go to your doctor's appointment, you get home, you open up your computer, and that paragraph you wrote is still there. And now you're home, and you open it up and you keep writing your following paragraph. So you can keep working on all your devices on the same material as long as your stuff is on the cloud. So those are all the advantages of being on the cloud. The negatives are that you need to pay. That's if you want the negative. All right, so those of you who have one choice or the other, this is not the time to change your things right now. We're still going to start learning more about how much you have, what you don't have. But some of you already, I know, have made a decision that you want to switch, and others are still trying to learn more and figure out more about it. So 1 second, I see a couple of hands up. let me first explain this little icon, this little drawing here before, because it might answer some of your questions, and then I'll get to all the questions. So here's the thing about the iCloud. Actually, let me show both of these at the same time instead of showing them individually, and that might be the best way. So I have two things here that I'm showing you, and one of them, I'm going to move here to the right and over here to the left. And so basically what we have is, what is the cloud? So first I'm going to show you this one. All the internet. So remember the cloud, not the iCloud. I'm talking about the cloud. All of the internet could be considered the cloud. All of the connected computers in the world, if you own a computer connected to cable or to fiber optics to the internet, if you can access the internet, on the internet is what you find are files that are that come from your next door neighbor, or come all the way from Saudi Arabia, or come from some place in the middle of the Mongolian desert. Whatever's on the internet is from around the world, and you access it from your computer. So that little cable that you connect to the internet, all the world's computers are connected to the internet that way. So that stuff that's online, that's the cloud. Okay. Now you can freely access a lot of stuff on the cloud, all these websites that you're checking out. You're reading up about, bees and how to save them and how to harvest honey. You're reading up about the storm that's coming next week or whatever. All of that is freely accessed on the cloud. It's freely put up there by people for you to read. And then there's some stuff that is not free on the cloud, that each company has a portion of the cloud that you need to access either by paying or because you have an account with that company. So your bank has a little bit of the cloud where if you go online and type in your account number and your password, you can go into the cloud and see your statements. All of these companies have pieces on the cloud and you can only access them. So this is the Microsoft OneDrive, the Adobe Cloud, the Google Drive, the stuff where you have all your accounts, all the handouts that I have, that I showed you, they're in the Google Drive. The Google has a place that you access with a password, which you guys all have a password to the Pipeline account, which is a Gmail account. And you can see things on the cloud, but only you guys can see it with your Pipeline account. If you don't put in your Pipeline account and password, you don't see the handouts that I gave you. So it's not that the world can see these places. You need personal private accounts. And the Apple's part of the cloud has a brand name that's called iCloud. Google's has a brand name called Google Drive. Microsoft has a brand name called OneDrive. So these are just names, and the iCloud is the Apple's little portion of the cloud. And how do you access that? Because you have an account number, basically, which is your Apple ID. And that Apple ID has a password. And when you want, this is the Apple iCloud for every single user of the cloud. And one little mini portion of it is your stuff. One little bit of that whole iCloud. Every Apple user who has an Apple device has a piece of the cloud. And no one can get into each other's piece, not even Apple techs. They can only get into your place if you allow them in and you put in the password. They would never even ask you for your password. You would have to type it in, and for them it'll show up as dot. So no one knows the password to your Apple ID other than yourself. And then that little bit of the cloud is your stuff. Your stuff, this stuff, the stuff that you have chosen to put on the cloud. So what you put on the cloud is either everything that's on your computer or a few things that are on your computer. So that little bit of the iCloud right here, you access yourself with your Apple ID and your password. And this stuff, no one else can see but yourself. And it's the place where all the information transfers back and forth around all of your devices. Now, can you break this up and say, nope, I want my stuff to stay only here or only here? Yes, you can. And once again, in the first class, I showed you quite a bit about all the settings and how you need to have things flow or not between one device or another. So that is how you allow things to flow back and forth or not. You take a photo in here and it flows straight onto your computer when you come home. You were just at your friend's house, you took a picture, you come home, you open up your computer, there it is. Why? Because you have it all set up so that photos flow directly from one to the other. If instead you've said, no, I don't want my photos to do that, then they live only here. Good and bad. Well, you pay less cloud, but if your phone falls, dies, or crashes, or you forget it, the photos die with it, just like the documents might die with your computer. So it's a choice to have this set up or not. And but now I'm going to explain how to do that. But now you know that about most of you guys, usually it's more like half, the majority of the people have stuff on the cloud. In the past, every class I've had over the years, majority of the stuff is on the cloud. This is the first time that I have a majority of people saying that their stuff is on the computer. In fact, the last class, only 2 people had things on the computer and 13 had them on the cloud. This time, there's a reverse system where most of you are saying that your stuff is on the computer. So you never know, because it all depends on whoever's showing up in class, what might be. Okay, now that I've given a basic explanation, I know there's still a bunch of questions and a lot of you guys have your hands up. So let me put these up and start answering questions. So the first person to have their hand up was Charlie. Yes, what's your question?
Who, you answered my question, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna think of put everything on the cloud now. It's a lot safer and you know, it'll save me from buying a 512 or 1 terabyte drive for my Mac for now.
Yeah, he's in the process of changing his Mac and he's trying to decide to get a bigger hard drive or smaller hard drive and stuff. So don't make a decision yet because there's nuances to this. But yeah, it occurs to, I do want you to start making decisions like Charlie is. Don't necessarily right now buy a new computer yet. Give it a few more weeks while you're in this class to ask all your questions before you make that decision, okay? But yeah, that's one way to go. Okay, Paul, your hand was up next.
Yeah, thanks, Diana. So if I were to take, I'm thinking about transferring my photos
Mhm.
to the iCloud.
Mhm.
Before I transfer them, could I move those photos to I have a hard drive, which I have connected. Move those for all the photos to the external hard drive, and then disconnect the hard drive, the internal external hard drive, and then send everything else up to the cloud.
So what you're saying is you don't want your photos in the cloud, but yes, you want everything else?
Well, no, I'm saying I do want my photos in the cloud, but I want to first put them on a external
Yeah.
hard drive storage device,
Okay, so
and then detach it from the computer.
yeah, so that, thanks for being very clear about what you do with them, because no.
I can't do that.
No, hold on. You can put your photos on the cloud. This is more a photos class question, and you guys, I don't want to confuse anyone with this answer, so I'm going to answer him. But if this is a bit confusing to you, just hang on, because once you understand more about storage, you'll understand. But Paul's been in quite a few of my classes, so I know he has a more advanced notion of understanding this. So let me answer him first. If you move stuff off your computer to a separate hard drive,
Yes.
then you need to start making backups of that hard drive with another hard drive, because no, the cloud only will take what's on your computer up into the cloud. And this hard drive now is another computer. So the first answer is no. Plan B, if the photos you're talking about are photos that you took with your phone, then you can still have your photos on the cloud if you connect your phone to the cloud, but not necessarily your computer to the cloud. So there's like different ways these paths can take.
Yeah, okay.
So
I
you can
see.
have the path going this way. So now I'm showing you from phone to cloud and cloud to phone. So
Right.
that your photos do live on the cloud in case you lose your phone, but you can on your computer disconnect your photos, have them in another hard drive, but then they won't update. Anything new will still be there and you'll have to download it by hand and move it over there. So I believe I'm explaining more about all of how to do that. In that.
So when I transfer things, if I were to transfer things from my computer
Mhm.
to an external hard drive,
Mhm.
I'm actually transferring the actual files, not the link. And therefore the link
Yeah.
would disappear. It wouldn't be on my
Yeah.
computer anymore. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Which, by the way, is not a bad way to do it. You need to be really comfy with file management. And that
Yeah.
is how I do it, actually. That is
Yeah.
how I do it. So it is possible. I know that Bill, who is in class, he had to go right now. He does it that way too, but you need to be really comfy with file management and know what's happening to your files. It's a good way to do it, but it's not the simple nor the easy way to
Yeah,
do it.
okay. Well, thank you. I think I've already done, I think actually I've already done this. I think I've already moved I think all my stuff's already, all my photos are already on my hard drive. So
Okay, so
that's
then you
good.
have to
Thank
keep
you.
them updated yourself by hand, because otherwise the stuff that you're doing now on your phone won't filter into that place automatically. You have to drag it in, okay?
Right, I
Uh,
got you.
You're gonna get more of this in the photos class, but yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're
Thank you.
welcome. All right, the next hand that's up was Patricia.
Uh-huh. Diana, I just wanted to ask you, so the phone is in the cloud because I know that I can get my pictures from the phone to the cloud and then to the cloud to the computer.
Mhm.
But how is the Wi-Fi? Is also in the cloud, right? Because YouTube is in the cloud, right?
Yeah, so you're talking two different things here. YouTube
Okay.
is also on the cloud. Wi-Fi is just technology that connects you to the cloud.
Oh, okay.
So in your house, you need to have a box, a cable that's actually hardware that
Uh-huh.
connects you to the internet. So that's what we call Wi-Fi. Then your computer can connect to it with a wire or not, but that's Wi-Fi. So it's an actual connection. That's all Wi-Fi is. The YouTube is a place where people put videos for others to see, such as these class recordings. That is, you need to have an account with Google, and you need to have a password with Google to put stuff up there. And then those of you who want to view it for free. But to put something up, I need to have a Google account and I need to pay to put things up on video on YouTube. If I want a certain amount of gigabytes of stuff, I need to start paying. If I just put a few things, I don't have to pay. So you as a viewer, though, can access and view all of the stuff for free. So it's a service. YouTube is a service, so it's a bit different than what we're talking about, because everything that I put up on the cloud is not available for anyone to see ever, unless I give them my Apple ID and my cloud. It's like saying anyone can walk by your house, but no one can get in unless they have the keys to your house, right? But if you walk by a park, the park is public, anyone can walk by. So YouTube is public. It's a place where people can publicly go and view any videos. So you would have to put things in there and allow the public to see them, versus you would never have anyone come and walk through your house that doesn't have a key. So the key to your stuff in the cloud is your Apple ID and password. All right. Yeah, and she has an Android instead of an iPhone, so that's why she has this question. It's a little bit different than if you have everything Apple, then the whole Apple universe works really seamlessly. But when you have a phone that's not an Apple phone and you take photos and then you want them in the cloud, which she is doing, but she is doing it through a whole different set of apps through Google Photos and stuff. So yeah, that's why the answer is a little bit different for her. Okay, next question was Cassie.
I'm just wondering about like the Google, and I have Google Docs and Google Drive, and that's all free stuff, right? Because I have Google address.
Google is the same as iCloud. You get some stuff for free and more you need to pay. So Google gives you 15 gigabytes for free. And if you have more stuff, then you have to pay, just like the iCloud. So if you have more stuff than what they give you for free, you need to start paying. I don't have off the top of my head what the prices are for Google. I can research it, but
Okay.
it's the same. Everyone gives you a bit for free and then you pay. Microsoft, everyone, Adobe, everyone gives you a bit for free. And then if you run over it, you have to start paying. The only thing though is that Google, I believe that anything you put in the Photos app, the Google's Photos app, I think photos, they don't charge you. For video, they do. But yeah.
And another question about the docs, the Google Docs, because I have a member of a group where they're sending things to Google Docs. It can just go straight in there. I don't have to put it in. They can send it directly to it.
The whole as much as we're teaching you everything about the iCloud right now, it's a whole bunch of classes. There's a whole class on Google, and you can take that class too. I believe it's being offered this session. It's a whole nother conversation. It's very similar though, only from a different company. But yeah, right now, for example, the handouts that I'm giving you, they're all Google Files, Google Docs, and I am putting them up in a drive that I'm sharing with you guys. So I have my school stuff up here in my Google Drive, in my pipeline Google Drive, and then I give you guys access to it. So I choose that this one folder where I have my Mac stuff, I am giving you guys access to it. So in the
Okay.
Apple, it would be the same. I could choose some files of my cloud to give access to someone else. So I could say, I want my mom to see this folder of photos so she can see them, but she doesn't have access to all my stuff. Same with Google. I've given you access to some of my stuff, but not to everything. So yeah, and we can all share documents across Google. We can share documents about Icon. We can share documents across Microsoft. It's every one of these is exactly the same, but in their own little membership world. Okay.
Okay.
So Google Docs work fine with Google and Microsoft, and Numbers and Pages. It all kind of works well within themselves. If you use a Word document and you want someone else to see it, you can put it up in the OneDrive cloud and give access to, say, Sarah to look at your Word document, just like Google Docs does, just like Apple Pages does. You can always give access to people to have them see your documents on the cloud, but
Okay.
individually, not to all your stuff.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Jeannie, your question is next.
Yes, please. Deanna, this probably is very, well, anyway, just, I'm confused. The two terms, iCloud versus iCloud Drive, is it the same thing? For instance, when I'm in my Finder window, in the sidebar, there's the,
So stop for a minute. Stop for a minute.
Mhm.
Yes, they are very different. So first I was distinguishing the cloud from the iCloud. Now I have to distinguish the iCloud from the iCloud Drive. So yes, I want to stop you right there because all your explanation of why you're seeing it different is because yes, it is different. So
Okay.
yes, I wrote in the chat. So the cloud is different. Let me do the cloud. Than the iCloud, which is different than the iCloud Drive. So that last thing that I wrote might seem like Chinese Google Doc or whatever you say that program, but the iCloud, the cloud, and the iCloud Drive are three different things. So I'm going to keep working on that right now and explaining that to you. Because all of these documents and desktop that I showed you that is in the iCloud, it is actually in the iCloud Drive. So let me explain a little bit more about that. This is going to take today, next class, we're going to take some time to distinguish what all these parts are. So right now, I am going to make a new share. You know what? I'm gonna ask you to mute yourself, or I'm gonna mute you, Cassie, on there we go. Sorry. Thank you. Because I notice what happens. I don't notice it's there. I just know that I speak louder and louder and louder as if there was a noise next to me that I'm trying to speak over, and then my voice, and then I just go, oh, wait, it's just that there's a noise going that makes me speak louder. But all right. So I'm going to make a new board to draw on now. And sorry, once again, the drawing is, or the writing isn't necessarily the best, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a little pencil. Here's my little pencil. Hold on, I need to let Doran in, who is accessing the class. Here we go. So here's my little pencil. Let me give it a cloudy-ish color. So here we have the cloud. So it really is kind of not a good drawing of the cloud, because actually the cloud is not finite. So let me do this again. It's more like this is the cloud and it has no ends. It's huge. Okay. It's the whole world. Does that make sense? The entire world. The cloud equals to all internet connections in the world. So that is humongous. Okay. That's the cloud. Then we switch to one portion of the cloud, okay, is the iCloud. Apple. Access with your Apple ID and password. So
Excuse me, Deanna, I don't see you're texting everything or doing a chat, but I don't see it.
did you stop seeing what I'm writing? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So you guys are not seeing the little drawing that I'm making?
I see the drawing, but so this wasn't showing up in the chat, just in your cloud. Okay, sorry about that. I was looking at the
No,
chat.
that's okay. That's okay. I'm trying to. I hate writing in this place because it doesn't necessarily, I'm trying to get in there and put the holds. It's not letting me. I was trying to get in there and put holds your stuff, but instead it says HUDs your stuff, and it's very hard to edit when you do this writing, and I'm trying to get in there. There we go. Come on. Holds your stuff. Okay. The iCloud is a subset of the internet, and it's private. Okay. And it holds your stuff, whatever you chose to put on the cloud. And you still right now don't have necessarily the choices made, but you have whatever choice you have by default. Some of you have chosen it in another class of mine. Otherwise, by default, you just suddenly, you discovered your stuff is on the cloud and you didn't know. It belongs to Apple users only. Okay. And you access this stuff by putting in your password. Then what's on the cloud? So the whole huge cloud belongs to everyone. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and I believe, no, that's wrong. Okay. These tools for drawing are not very intuitive. So every single person, this whole cloud is not private. Okay. All that stuff over there, and I can't really write it too well, so I'm going to undo. It's not private. One little portion of it is private. Okay. And the little portion we're talking about right now is the Apple portion. Then inside of Apple, there are different apps. So I'm going to make lots of little boxes here. Inside of the iCloud, there's different apps, bigger, smaller ones. Okay. So these are all different apps. So what apps am I talking about? Let's everyone go to your system preferences. Open up your system preferences. And let me switch for a second to share my system preferences with you guys so that you can see what I'm wanting you to see. And then I'll come back to my little drawing. Open up your system preferences. Okay. And then what you need to do is you need to go up for 90% of you guys, go up here to the World Apple ID. For you, Sarah and Bill on your old computer, anyone who's on your old computers, so Cassie on your old one, if you were to want to go, then you'll see a little tiny cloud icon right around here. And that's where you click to go to the cloud. But for everyone else on Catalina, Big Sur, Mojave, Monterey, Apple ID you access by clicking here on the Apple ID, and that lets you access your cloud. Now, why did you get in? I told you it's private. It's because your computer has memorized your Apple ID. So it's letting you in to see your cloud. Okay. This that I just told you that you can only do with a password. If you didn't have your password in here and you click your Apple ID, it's going to say, well, you need to give me your password before I can let you in. Okay. Now you did that when you set up the computer for the most part, and that's why your computer knows this password. So over here, you have your name. Maybe you have your picture, maybe not, but right under your name, you have something. That's your Apple ID. Whatever you have there. Many times it's your email, maybe times it's not your email, maybe times it's an old email that you don't use anymore. It's whatever you set up the day that they asked you to set it up. Maybe some of you set up your Apple ID 10 years ago. Some of you guys set it up 2 years ago. Whatever you gave them, that becomes your Apple ID, even if you don't have that email anymore, such as is my case and quite a few people, because that's what I was using at that point. So that's your Apple ID, okay? The password, you only know. You and only you know the password, and you shouldn't tell me or anyone your password, except for a very, very trusted person in your family. That helps. You should have someone who knows your passwords, or you should have it written in some very, in such a way that it's separate from your computer, not a little post-it note on the side of your computer. That's not a very safe way to have a password. Okay, so this thing allows you to see what's on the cloud. So look, apps on this Mac using iCloud. See that up there? Apps on this Mac using iCloud. One of the apps is the iCloud Drive. One of the apps is Photos. One is Mail. One is Contacts. One is Calendars. One is Notes. These are all different apps that you can have on the iCloud. So if you follow stocks and you want to see them, that information will also be available on the iCloud. If you make a note on your phone, that note will be in the Notes app in the cloud, or in the Notes app in your computer. If you write an appointment in your Calendars app on your phone, that will also be in the Calendars app on the cloud, and it'll also be on your computer, so on and so forth. The iCloud Drive is another app, horribly named, of course, because come on, really? Cloud, iCloud, and iCloud Drive, do they all need to have the same name? But well, yes, they do. It's confusing, but it's another app. Okay. So just to explain this now, what drawings I was making, I'm going to go back to my drawing. And this is what I mean by the apps. This one here might be your Notes app. Okay, then this one here might be your Photos app. Then this one here might be your iCloud Drive app. And this one here might be the Mail app. Remember what app means? Application, right? And this one here might be your Calendars app, etc., etc., etc. So when you access the cloud, imagine again going into a club. I mean, maybe you're members of a club and you can either choose to do tennis or swim or do aerobics, or there's different activities. Once you access the cloud, you have different choices, apps that you use, apps that you don't use. So over here you have Reminders app, which you might go, oh, I don't use that one. Maybe you don't do fencing, but you do tennis. So you don't have to do everything that the club offers, right? So these are possible things, a keychain app, etc., etc. So these are all possible apps. I'm not even beginning to put them all in here, but this is for you to understand what's happening in the cloud. This stuff, and I have not been complete. So what I'm saying is not the complete set of selections, okay? But this stuff is what, let me get a spotlight. It is on. Why is the spotlight not showing? Okay, so this stuff, my little spotlight is not following my mouse. How weird. I'm gonna turn it off then. Okay, I can't turn it off. Let me clear. Oh no,
Oh,
cleared all my drawings. Okay, so I don't know. I'm gonna save it before I make a mess. Okay, so for some reason my spotlight isn't turning on or off and it's driving me crazy. Okay, I can't seem to turn it off completely either. Okay, so I don't know why, guys. I'm gonna have to stop sharing, but you're gonna see the little red dot somewhere else. Okay, so this is the iCloud. It holds all this stuff. And if in your phone, you wrote an appointment, then that appointment appears in the calendars app in the phone. If you connect your phone to the cloud, in the cloud, if you connect your computer to the cloud, in your computer. So this whole process works only if you've connected everything. So now I'm going to share this drawing again. If you have chosen to connect the stuff on your iPad and your phone to the cloud and the stuff on the cloud to your computer, then all of this information flows back and forth across all of them. This we did spend quite a bit of time on during the first set of 6 classes, the intro to the Mac, explaining it a little bit and showing all the settings. If you choose to not have the calendar on your handheld go to the cloud, then you break this connection and it just lives on your phone. If you choose that your calendar on the Mac is not going to go to the cloud, you break that connection. How do you break that connection? All of this is up here in the settings. So I'm going to share my settings again now. And then I'm going to answer questions. I know that you guys have questions. So let me go to my system preferences. And this check mark that I have here means that I am connecting my calendars app on my computer to the cloud. This lack of check mark here means that I am not connecting the photos on this computer to the cloud. Now be careful. Don't turn the photos nor the iCloud Drive on and off. These two are crucial. Do not turn them on and off. Others are not so important if you turn on and off, but don't just practice click and unclick because you can mess up all your data, will not know where to live. Okay, so just live with whatever choices you have right now. And as I explain, we'll decide whether you wanted these things on or off. One more, I know that there's 2 hands up, but hold on a minute because I want to show you this equivalent. And this is a total repeat from stuff that I did in the first class, but I'm going to share my phone with you guys now. What is the equivalent on the phone? A phone or iPad, it's exactly the same. Phone or iPad, you go to the settings. So I'm going to find the settings icon. And right here at the very top, it'll say my name and it'll say Apple ID iCloud. Okay, so everyone go to your phone. Remember, you have to have your phone next to you for this class. Go to your phone and or your iPad. And over here, you access your phone and this first icon says iCloud. So this that we're doing right now is doing exactly the same as what we just did on our computer. It looks a little bit different, but here it is on the phone. It looks like big old green sliders. So on your phone, for example, if I have things turned on, that means that whatever photos I get on my phone, it says on, are maybe going to the cloud. And any mail is also being shared with the cloud. My contacts are being shared with the cloud. If these are off, then that means they're not being shared with the cloud. Okay, so maybe I don't have anything I look at stocks on my phone is not being shared with the cloud. Any games I play in my phone are not being shared with the cloud, but all my Siri information is being shared with the cloud. Okay, but notice that separate from all of these is the iCloud Drive. So again, it's inside the cloud, but it's a separate app. And now I'm going to begin to explain what that separate app is all about. But first, I'm going to answer questions. Yes, Jeannie.
No, I'm sorry, that's my old.
That's your old hand, okay? Sarah? You had your hand up? Oh, your sound is off. You can't unmute yourself?
Yes.
There it is, okay.
I have a window stuck on my screen that I can't get out of. Anyway, when I click on iCloud on the computer, and I don't know if it's on the iPhone too, but
Mhm.
it gives me the option to sign out, and I'm wondering, are we supposed to be signed in all the time or signed out, or what's the difference?
Yeah, you should be always signed in. If you have a Mac computer, now you have an older computer, so
Yeah.
the choices are a little bit different. But if you are on your computer, on your phones, on your devices, you need to be signed in to the cloud. If you are signed out, then you are fine, but you're working on this little island where none of this is going to work. And that's fine. Then you're using your computer kind of separate and on its own, but it won't have a connection to anything, and it won't be sending anything up to the cloud. If your computer dies, everything dies with it. So normally when you clicked on the app on the iCloud, did it ask you to sign in, or did it give you the choice to sign out? But did it go to a window similar to this, only in your computer it'll be smaller. It won't have, let me share my screen of what you should be seeing on, going to my handouts, and in my handouts, the iCloud for you is going to look like this. Your iCloud icon is there, and
Right.
this is what you'll see. So it's a bit smaller. It doesn't have all the information down here that the one that I was showing has, but this is the cloud that you should be seeing. Do you see that?
Yeah, and I was already signed in, so the option was
Yeah.
to sign out.
So there's an option here to sign out, but you shouldn't unless you're going to sell your computer, give it to someone else, et cetera, then you can sign out. But
Okay.
otherwise you shouldn't be signing out. When you sell your computer, donate your computer, whatever, you should definitely sign out of your account so that none of your information stays on the computer for the new person to see it. By the way, there's other stuff you need to do, also erasing the stuff. At the very minimum, you should sign out of your iCloud account.
Okay.
But now, before that was very available, very visible. See how it says sign out over here? Now, when you see the current system preferences, there's no easy way to sign out. I mean, you can sign out from here too, but as you can see, it's not necessarily a big button that says sign out. So you don't given that quick choice to sign out. You have to take a few more steps if you want to sign your computer out. All right, let me 1 second here. Cassie, I know your hand is up. Just say again that these check marks here are the equivalent to the phone green marks. And again, I spent quite a bit explaining that in the first class. So if this is unclear to you, and this is the first class you're taking with me, remember that you can always take the Intro to the Mac class another time, or ask me and I can just spend a little bit more time after the class is over with you over this. But if this thing says calendars, check mark, then in my computer's calendars, when I make an appointment to go to lunch with Mary, then because it's checked here, then my computer sends that information to the cloud automatically without me doing anything about it. It sits in the cloud, and as long as my phone has a green marker on calendar, it also goes to the phone. So now if my phone has that same check mark on it, and hold on, I'm sharing my phone right now. So if I go over here to calendars in my phone, my mouse is, and it's checked on, meaning it's green, then my phone and the calendars app will have that same appointment that says lunch at 12. And then suddenly my phone rings and my Mary calls me and tells me that that she can't meet me at 12, she needs to meet me at 1 on my phone, I go ahead and switch my appointment to 1 o'clock. And at the same time, as long as I'm in an area that has Wi-Fi, at the same time, that information gets updated on the cloud, and at the same time, and it gets updated on my computer. So if I were to go open my computer, my calendars now would have the same appointment already moved to 1 o'clock. Okay, so basically, if this switches on and my computer system preference is checked for calendars, then the information is flowing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. All right. Now, one place that I showed you guys in the first class, and I'm going to share it one last screen again, which is this one, is that we went into that cloud. And we went into the cloud and we did that. And what you find is that you have the same apps, and you can open up and you can see the stuff that's on the cloud. So if you were to lose your computer and your app Mac, which isn't such an impossibility. We had that happen here a few years ago. There was big mud flow, houses, everything got lost. All stuff got lost. You lost your Mac, you lost your phones, you lost your everything. You left with your life and your dog. Guess what? Your cloud still has all your stuff. So once you buy a new computer, once you buy a new phone, all you need to do is sign into the cloud, Apple ID, password, and boom, all that stuff comes back onto your computer and onto your phone, because the cloud still had all the stuff, as long as your check marks were on all of them. Okay. All right. Cassie, you had a question.
Okay, so I have a little note under Optimize Mac storage. It says the contents of iCloud Drive will be stored on this Mac if you have enough space. Older documents will be stored only in iCloud when space is needed.
Mhm.
So
I'm trying to first explain the whole concept of everything, and now I'll go into the details, and that's one of the details. So let me share the screen you're talking about, but first let me make sure that no one else has questions about this concept that I was trying to share. But this is that thing that you're reading out to us, so I'm going to hold off there. I'm going to take other
Okay.
questions and then I'll explain that. Okay, Jeannie?
Yes, Deanna. In my system preferences on my computer, I have photos checked, though I sometimes think I shouldn't, but I have the photos checked, but I do not have the iCloud Drive box checked. On the telephone, I have photos checked and the iCloud Drive is checked.
Okay, so here's what's happening. What you have is right now that your photos, your iCloud Drive and your photos are both checked on your phone. So all the information from your iCloud Drive and your phone are flowing to the cloud. Okay, they're flowing to the cloud and from the cloud back to your phone. On the other hand, on your Mac OS, you have your photos turned on, but not your iCloud. So basically not your iCloud Drive. So your photos are going to the cloud. Your photos from your phone are going to the cloud and then onto your computer. So that system is working. But your iCloud Drive stuff that's sitting there is isolated and not coming to your computer. And that's the case with a lot of you guys. I'm going to go in and explain now, because that's the whole gist of today, was to explain the cloud, so that now I can finally get to explaining what the iCloud Drive is. Okay, so now when I explain the iCloud Drive, you will understand why it's on or off, and you will choose whether to turn it on or off. All right. So right now, what you're just doing is by having the checkbox disconnected, whatever's in your iCloud Drive here is not going up to the cloud. Whatever's in the iCloud Drive there is not going down. All right. So that's just it. But it is flowing between these two. So those check marks, all they mean is whether the information is being shared between those items. I'm going to share this window again so that I can, this one again, so that I can explain a little bit more about this window, which goes to Cassie's question and to the general question of what is that iCloud Drive. Oof. I'm going to mute you, Cassie, because the dog was barking. I know my headsets are on loud because some of you guys sound is very low and some is high. So I have to have it on loud, but whenever one of the loud ones has a loud noise, I suddenly go, ah, and I just jump in my ears because the headsets are really loud. All right, so here we go. This is the last little bit that you need to understand. Up until now, I explained the apps that go into the AdCloud Drive. But notice that the rest of them are just a check mark, but the iCloud Drive has more than a check mark. It has a check mark, which you could have on or off. Don't play with it. Don't turn it on or off right now. Just wherever it's at, leave it be. But there's another little window here that says options. Do you all see that?
Mhm.
That little options is very important. So go click on options. This is stuff that's apps that store documents and data in the iCloud will appear here. So so let me say done. You guys don't say done, just sit there. These are all apps that are part of the iCloud. Remember that I showed you that drawing? In fact, I can share, let me actually, hold on, because I did download that drawing that I made. Give me 1 second. Now I have that little drawing that I was making. I have it available as a file now, saved under document. Give me 1 second. I need to find this whiteboard. Okay, so now I can share these two things with you, and I've got so many files open here that it's getting a little confusing, but here we go. All right, so now do you guys see these two things?
Yes.
You're seeing my system preferences where it says apps on this Mac that use iCloud, and I kind of wrote in here in the iCloud, you can see your Notes app, there it is, your Keychain app, there it is, your Mail app, there it is, and so on and so forth. I didn't put all of them, but this is equivalent to that, right? Some of yours might have, some of yours might be on, some of yours might be off, but basically this is the possibility of use of these apps going into the cloud. Great. Now you take this one iCloud Drive, and when these apps hold data, okay, so for example, Mail holds data. I'm going to go in here to the options where you guys are. If any of these apps stores documents and data, where will those documents and data be? They'll be here in the iCloud Drive. So for example, books, you can store books in the Books app, or iMovie stores videos. Keynote is where you make presentations. Numbers is where you make spreadsheets. It's kind of like Excel. Word, Mail, information that if you might have some of these, you might have others, but data that can be stored in the cloud gets stored in here in the iCloud Drive app. So all of this might have data created by you. Like Siri doesn't have data created by you. It's a service. If you have data created by you, then what part of this does it get started? It starts in the iCloud Drive. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up again. And here's the big decision and the big question that you had made for you. If your stuff is on the cloud, then you have a check mark on. If your stuff, desktop and documents, is on the cloud, what we did at the beginning of today that I had you guys before break, I said you guys go check and see if your stuff, if your desktop and documents was on the Macintosh hard drive or on the cloud. Those of you who said yes, it's on the cloud, then you have this checked on, like I do here. If your stuff was on the Macintosh hard drive, then this checkbox is now empty. Okay, So most of you guys in this class said that your stuff was on your Macintosh hard drive. That means that this is an empty blank checkbox. If it's clicked on, then that's those of you who answered that your desktop and documents are held on the cloud in this app online. Is that clear before you ask me any questions? I know that Marcia and Sarah have your hands up. I'm gonna clear everyone's answers. Even though I know that Marcia and Sarah have your hands up, I've cleared everyone's answers. Do you see the connection? Give me a yes if you see the connection between this check mark, okay, and that, and I'm gonna add one more window, which is your sister, I had these 3 windows open right now. I'm also sharing this here. Well, every time so this here and this and this. What's happening is that my desktop and documents said that when I have something in my desktop and documents, where those things are is in the iCloud drive. Why? Because this mark is checked on. So all my desktop and documents material shows up like it's in the iCloud drive right there in my cloud. If this is off, then everything like there, the applications and the downloads are never in the cloud. They're always on your computer. So for those of you who, when you click on the words desktop and documents, it still says Macintosh hard drive, that means that this is off. It is white. So if that is true to you and you see what I'm talking about, give me a yes, because you totally get what I'm talking about. Yeah or no? And if it's not so, give me a no. If you see that your stuff on your desktop and documents right here says Macintosh, this should be off. If that's happening, then give me a yes. If you see that desktop and documents is on the cloud, this should be on. If that's how you see it, then give me a yes. I just want to make sure that you've made that connection. Okay. Now, for those of you who are not answering, I'll let you think about it a little more. Meanwhile, Sarah, you had a question.
Yeah, I have things showing on the Macintosh, but my iCloud drive has a little check in it.
Yes, but you do not have this options option there, right?
I have options, yes.
So click on the options. That's the check mark that I'm talking about.
Oh,
It's that one.
yeah, mine doesn't even, it doesn't. iCloud.
Exactly, because it's old.
Okay.
Your
yeah.
computer is too old to use the iCloud drive option. So all your stuff is going to always be on your computer. Okay. So those of you who have an old computer, so Cassie on her second computer, Bill on his second computer, Sarah on your computer, you do not have the option of having your desktop and documents on the cloud until you upgrade your computer. It's not an operating system thing. It's a hard drive. It's a software. Sorry, it's a computer being too old to have that feature. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
All right. I know that I had said that Sarah had a question, and originally Sarah and someone else. Who was the someone else? I know that Paul and Cassie now have one, but originally I had said 2 people had their hands up.
Marcia.
Marcia. So what's your question, Marcia?
Anna, I'm just sorry, I'm still a little confused. If the iCloud, does the iCloud Drive app contain the Mail app and the Keychain app and their Notes app? Is it, I'm a little confused.
Nope.
Oh,
It isn't contained. It contains the info, the data from your mail is contained in this. We're out of time. The class is over, but the one piece that's missing here that I did do with you guys last class is to have you go to iCloud.com and sign in and see this space, right? Remember how we did that, you guys? But that was like a first attempt at that. So while we're at it, I will write in here in the chat, I am writing iCloud.com. Your homework is to use a browser, Safari, for example, to go to iCloud.com and enter your Apple ID and password and access your cloud on the web and see what's on your iCloud account. Okay, so I wrote it down here. I will send this to you guys again, and then we will do this at the beginning of next week's class. We're going to go to this cloud place. How do you access this cloud place? By going to iCloud.com. That's it. So to be perfectly clear, this place is accessible to you. So you Mac OS is in front of you. Your phone is in your hand. How do you get to this? You go to a browser and you go to iCloud.com. Okay, so you go to a browser and you go to iCloud.com. That's what you need to do. We need to go to my spotlight and turn this off. Okay, so in iCloud.com, and I'm going to write that right here, which I'm noticing hadn't been written. So iCloud.com, and we're going to move that around. Okay, so you go to iCloud.com on any browser right there, and you put in your Apple ID and your password, and then you will access a website that shows you all of these apps. It will show you all of these apps. Okay, and I know we need to go. I know that it's a ton of information that I've thrown at you today, but when you go to iCloud.com, you will have in a web page that only you can access because you put in your Apple ID and your password, and you will access a page that has all of these different apps. And when you double click on the iCloud drive, inside the iCloud drive, some of you guys will find the desktop and documents that you thought were on your computer. You'll find them there. So if you go to your desktop, you'll go, oh, wow, this photo that I have on my desktop is really on the cloud. And those of you who don't have this turned on will find that it's not there. You will find other stuff that's there, but definitely not your desktop and documents. Those will be living only on your computer. Okay, so check this out as homework. Why do I want you to do it as homework? Because I want to make sure that you have access to your Apple ID and password. That I cannot get for you. Apple ID is easy. I showed you where to get it. Right here under your name, that's your Apple ID. The password, I do not know. So if you try it at home in between today and next week, you'll have to figure out a way to find your password. Your computer remembers your Apple ID password, so it just lets you in right there. But if you go to the web, it's going to ask you for your password. And so if you're at your daughter's house in New York, that same example, and you go to her computer and try to get it, it'll ask you for Apple ID and password. Her computer is not going to remember your password. So you need to know it or have it written down somewhere or do something so that you can access your password. Remember, if you do have a horrible event, a fire, something that gets rid of your computers and your phones, you left your house with your life and your dog, the access to all your stuff on the cloud is dependent on you knowing your password. Okay, so it's a password you need to know. You need to know. You need to know. If you do not know it, there are some ways to retrieve it. You need the support of Apple Tech. So I'm going to go over here, and I really need to go. It's 5 minutes past the class, and I need to let you guys go. But let me show you my handouts, in my handouts, I have a handout of how to restore, where's my handout about how to, if you lost your password, let me see. Do I have it here? Let me start from the top. How to use Add User, how to back up your phone, how to find your Apple ID if you forgot your Apple ID and password. Okay, so here's all the things you can do or not do. This is an older one, so it talks about Catalina. I do not have the one for Big Sur, but it's basically the system preferences. If none of this works, your only solution is at the very end is to check in with tech support. Okay, you have to go to Apple ID, Apple tech support and say, sorry, I really need help recovering my password. They don't know your password, but they can run through certain steps. They can make sure that the computer is yours. They can look at serial numbers and other stuff, and you truly are who you say you are. They can figure out a way to reset that password. You need to know the password to your Apple ID. As I said, if you lose your computer and your phone, which remember your Apple ID for you, and you have to recover that stuff, you cannot recover it if you do not know the password. Okay, so this is a whole week for you to see if you know your password, and if you don't, follow the instructions on that handout that I just showed you, and it's how to find your Apple ID or password, or go online to Apple, as I showed you last week, to text to the support communities and say, I can't recover my password, what should I do? And possibly you'll end up on the phone with a technician. Okay, so it's not impossible, but it's not easy. Ask your friends, your neighbor, not your neighbor, ask your son, your daughters, people who set up the computer for you, and it was a tech support person. Your computer memorized it and you don't remember it anymore. For the most part, it could be the same password you use for everything else. Or someone might have told you, no, you need a new password and a secure password, and you gave it a new one. And then so just try all your different passwords until one works. And if none of the ones that you know work, then you know that you need support. All right, I'm going to stop all those sharings. I see a few hands. I want to let you know that class is officially over. I'm going to answer a few more questions. I've gone over by a ton of minutes, so I have a meeting starting very soon. So I'm going to do a short amount of answers after class. But if for the rest of you who have to go, bye. See you on
Thank you.
Monday.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Cassie, your hand is up. What's your question? Can't hear you.
Yes. So mine is blank because all the stuff on my old computer was on the hard drive and just got transferred over. Should I just go ahead and check that now and get?
I'd wait a little bit to make sure that's what you want to do. But yeah, I mean, if you check it right now, all your stuff will move up. So do you know that you have enough space? Are you paying enough? How much space, how much stuff do you have? So it depends on that. I don't know if you have 5 gigabytes worth of stuff or if you have 200,000 gigabytes worth of stuff. So me saying check it now might not be the right answer. We need to make sure that the stuff you have fits in the cloud based on how much you're paying.
So I need to go to find my storage capacity.
How much space are you paying for? What do you pay a month?
I think I pay 99 cents.
Okay, if you pay 99 cents, that's only 50 gigabytes.
Yeah.
I don't know how much.
I'm not
I don't
actually
know how
sure.
much.
To check
I don't know
that,
how much.
yeah.
I don't know how much. So to check that, you can just do the manage your account.
Maybe it's $2.99. I don't know.
Here you go. So you can go over here and iCloud storage, it'll say 200 gigabytes or 50 gigabytes. So whatever it says there, that's what you're paying. So how much does yours say?
So I go back to
go to your system preferences, and then you'll see there iCloud storage. Here
Oh,
it says 200 gigabytes,
okay,
so I'm paying
I've
$2.99.
I've got 200 gigabytes and I've got
Okay.
92 left.
Okay, so you have so right now you're already using up about half of what you're paying for. You
Yep.
need to go and check and see how much how much the information that you have in your computer and your desktop and documents weighs to see if you can use that or if you need to move up. So how about we're gonna do that next week. We're gonna start
Okay.
working on your computers, files and folders, and we'll see if it fits before you
Okay.
send them up there. If not, immediately it'll say, whoops, don't have space. You need to pay $9.99. And you need to decide if that's what you're up to doing.
Okay, so I'll
Okay.
just wait. I'll just
Yeah,
wait. Thank you.
Exactly. You're welcome.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so Jeannie, I know you always like to hang out to listen to all the answers just to learn more, but you don't have a specific question, right?
No, I don't. Thank you,
All
dear.
right. Bill,
Next-
how about you? Oh,
Next
you're
week, I'll show
muted.
you. Next week, I'll share my screen where you show you what happens in system preferences. You hit system preferences and it says erase all your data. That's what all you have to do and it does it.
Can you share me that screen? That's a scary one. Can you share that screen?
I logged out of that screen, only my iPad. I'll show you on.
Oh, okay. So
I'm here
in the-
now. What was the question for me?
No, I just want to know if you had a question.
No, I'm fine.
Okay, great. So Charlie is saying that in Monterey, in the system preferences, there's some button that says erase all your data. And I'm like, oh, I'm really scared that there's an easy button to do that. But
I'll show
so
you.
you'll show me that next week, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Okay,
Bye.
you guys, see you on Monday. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.